this is gonna be a really fun class and there's supposed to be a lot of interaction, but the more you guys interact, obviously the longer it's gonna take, which is good for you guys.
Right.
If, I mean, the bare minimum is gonna be about 3 hours.
Mhm.
You let me know. How many of you guys have actually done, wrote an offer before?
Long time ago.
Long time ago, so like probably before the
I'm sure
contract,
it's-
15,
yeah.
times.
Mhm.
Have you guys gone through the contracts classes?
I've done like once.
Do you mean like Simon's classes that he
Uh-huh.
does? Oh, yeah.
So you actually know, can you confident, okay.
No, yeah, not at all. And I'm glad, that's awesome that, this is something I really feel like we should know.
Yeah.
And don't learn.
And again, like, I hate the fact that we're actually being recorded, but I'm actually not supposed to teach this type of class. I'm supposed to tell you like the emotional and the mental aspects of it, which is probably the hardest part. Contracts are easy. Ideally, I could probably give you like 5 different contracts on writing offers. No contract is gonna be the same.
Right.
So it's gonna be like different conditions, contingencies and stuff like that, but. I'm gonna give you a couple of active listings, and we're just gonna go through it together, we're gonna partner up with each other and just. Write actual contracts.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
So we're gonna pretend to be the seller or even the listing agent and try to go with you guys. Tell you, hey, this is what the seller is looking for, so. So there's gonna be a lot of fun interaction, so again, let's go with it. So we get started on.
Yeah, it's up right there.
You're in charge.
He said a lot of people. started-
Yeah, a little ruined.
It's, good. I want them to make that on any uses stuff, but it's. Good. You guys that are in here, right?
There's 3 of us in here right now?
It's weird.
See that, that's what happens here. Subcommittee.
Last.
Here's getting some like real world, like actual hands-on stuff. A
Yeah,
lot of it is like, yeah, conceptual things and.
yeah, I know, it's a little like scary, right, when you actually have to go through the process. But let me tell you, hands down, the toughest part is just getting into the emotional aspect of it. So this is probably what we're gonna spend the most time on, getting into the emotional side of like buyers. Do they really want to write an offer? You know, like what are the things that you can do before writing up an offer? Once you get to the offer part, actually writing it up, once you go on to like the digital, the car transaction, super easy because it's all electronic. You just keep hitting next. That's the fun part.
And then the TC will tell you, you know, what you need to do or things you need to,
Absolutely.
right, so that's helpful.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, Chris, our transaction coordinator, she is amazing and he'll tell you. You miss a couple of signatures, not a problem. Do you want me to go ahead and send it out for you? If you're missing signatures, if you're missing stuff like that, you know, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and proceed as normal and then we'll fix it along the way.
Good to know.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I heard a couple of you say that Daycan's class was really good yesterday.
Yes.
Okay.
It's cool, yeah.
What were your big ahas?
I like, for me in particular, I like how pro door knocking he is and how successful he said he's been with that.
Yeah,
Cause I like that as a medium of lead generation.
okay,
So it's just good to hear.
yeah. What about it?
Just the fact that you can do it, if you do it often, you do it consistently,
Uh-huh.
and everything, and
He said 80% of his business has been from door knocking.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Agree. When I first started real estate, like about 9 years ago, I was licensed, but I had a problem. I had a discrepancy with my numbers, my last name. I was in the middle of changing my last name, but I still had my license. So my broker was just like, "What's stopping you? Just go out." I was like, "I don't know what to do." I didn't have these Ignite courses and stuff like that. So he's like, "Just go out and door knock." I'm like, "Okay, what do I say?" So he gave me a 1-page script. It's a 1-page script. So I just started going with it. I memorized it with my analytical brain. I'm just like, I don't wanna do this,
Mhm.
but I had no choice. So I started door knocking. I think I got to like my second week of door knocking in Gardena areas. This lady, she was like, yeah, I got to sell it. Turns out it was a notice, it was a pre-foreclosure, so she actually had to sell. I'm like, oh my God, this is happening. It works.
Mhm.
It really does. And then that's how my
Do you
business
still have that script?
this script is actually just like, hey, what are you looking to do? Are you planning on selling? If you were to sell, where would you go? And of course, at first, it's just a little standoffish, understandably, so I wouldn't want to give you all that information.
Cause I've already figured out like my area where I would like door knock and everything. I think it's just like trying to figure out, cause each like instructor that we had kind of have their different way of doing things. Some of them like don't take anything to the front door. Some of them take, you know, some sort of flyers. It's just, so I kind of gotta figure out like what is gonna work best for me.
Did you take anything?
Oh, yeah. What does work best for you though?
I haven't done it yet,
Okay,
so
why
I
not?
don't know.
Why not?
Because I don't know like really how to approach it just yet. I think I'm getting to the point where I'm getting more confident, especially after taking all the classes and stuff. And like I have 2 dogs that I walk through my neighborhood all the time, so I talk to people in general anyways. So I think most of the people in the neighborhood, because I've lived there for like 12 years. So, you know, most of the people in the neighborhood already like see me, recognize me, so I don't think it would be that crazy to like knock on their doors. I guess it's just what information to bring to the door, if I want to bring any information at all.
Yeah.
For me, talking to people is pretty easy. It's just, you know, do you want to take information, do you know, like. Even like the easy question, like if they have on the door, like no solicitation, like you can't knock at that point, but can you leave something at the door? Say, oops, I dropped it.
I still do.
Yeah,
Do you not?
do you knock or you just?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of agents say that they just do that.
Yeah.
The last time I got near to door knocking, I had like a duffel bag, my little gym bag, and I had some flyers in there. So I was getting my steps in, but I was dropping the flyers off at the neighbor's homes. That was the closest I got. And then last week I knocked on a neighbor's door because she had graffiti on her wall, and I called and had it removed, and I didn't know if she knew, because it's on the side where she may not drive by to see.
Did
And
you write her a note or anything like that?
I want to, I was just saying, I need to post it, because I didn't have a flyer or anything.
Do me a favor, go to the dollar store like right after this and go find like your 10 packs of cards. It could be blank, leave a little note. put the address card in. That will go such a long way. You can see that you're the local realtor. and see that's what we want. You did her such a favor, so
That's what I said, I would definitely, I was gonna put a post-it and a flyer on her.
don't do a post-it because post-it she'll probably.
That'll go away.
Do a card.
Okay.
A card will actually-
They talked a lot about too of like handwritten notes. And how, you
Handwritten
know,
notes are-
people love it, you know?
And to answer your question, it doesn't matter what content that you give. The content was for me to provide them something.
Right.
So whenever I would door knock, I would provide them with like either some sort of like market update, or sometimes I'll go door knocking because I desperately have this buyer who's trying to move into the area, but they got outbid. This was like in the high peak of the market. I would go in there with their pre-approval and be like, hey, my buyer is so desperate. Who do you know that's looking to sell?
Right,
It doesn't matter what content that you have, and that's why you're gonna listen to other people saying that they provide content, some people don't. Doesn't matter what you do, it's for your own comfort.
right,
Either way, go out and do it,
yeah,
because the longer it takes you to do it, you're gonna get in your head and you're gonna find some other reason.
yeah,
And that's exactly what my instructor told me. And you know, me, I'm an introvert by nature, but he's just like, it doesn't matter, just go out there and do it.
yeah. Yeah, I told myself this morning I was gonna start doing it today, tomorrow morning. Sure,
Perfect.
so I was like, okay, like after class, you're gonna like just start. knocking.
Cool. That is, well, because that's about listings and how to get listings, so I'm not gonna talk about hires.
Yes,
Um,
good.
You guys have all done open houses at some point,
Mhm.
and you're comfortable with open houses. So, you know, like, I'm sure you've had classes on like, you know, following up and stuff, right? And it's not so much
Yeah.
making a good impression on people who come into the open house is great, but that's only 50% of the way, right? I'm sure you heard that from many people. The biggest step is following up with them. And if you don't follow up, you're basically wasting your whole day,
Yes.
right? Especially knowing that they're probably gonna be going to like 3 other open houses, right?
Yeah, and somebody's gonna follow up.
Someone else is exactly.
Somebody else will, right?
Okay. Wanna read that?
Yeah, I wanted to write what you wrote down. I mean,
Oh, okay.
I was making a note. I'll read it. Let's do it. I like to think of sales as the ability to gracefully persuade, not manipulate. No, gracefully persuade, not manipulate a person or persons. Or persons? Oh, a person or persons. Wait, win-win situation.
What is that? What is that? Wasn't it for you? Hi.
I think that's part of being your authentic self.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So in real estate, I think you guys have heard this plenty of times, but this really hit home for me more recently than like the very beginning of my career. So hopefully you'll get the opportunity to go to it multiple times to realize that selling real estate is not about selling homes, it's about selling yourself. If you can sell yourself, then you just created clients for life.
Mhm.
Clients who are like, just for example, one of our clients, when Kevin and I, we worked together for the last 5 years, but I actually had a transaction 8 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago from one friend of a friend, so it was someone from my SOI. I am now working on the 8th friend of that friend. Wow. So that's the way our business works, that you're really selling yourself. The more you create rapport and keep following up with them, the easier it is.
Yeah.
And they'll keep.
I think the real estate has a lot to do with referrals.
Absolutely.
Referral.
Because I mean, the average, I think the car statistics say that the average client has like 3 or 4 people that are they're friends with that are in real estate, right? And they're all gonna try to sell you. It's just a matter of who can do it best, right? Any y'all have so far?
I just like that you said, this is what I was making note of, that if you do an open house, you don't follow up, you're just wasting your day. And that is totally true.
You truly are.
That's how I did the first 2 open houses that I held. I just didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what to ask, I kind of thought some people to sign it, but I didn't do anything with it,
Yeah.
Realizing like, yeah, that was literally, it was a good experience, but from a practical standpoint, it's totally just a waste of it.
Yeah, let's ask you this, I know this is a little off topic from what we're supposed to be talking about, but what's like the key, what's even better proactively with following up? What's the best way to follow up without having to follow up later?
What, send a text and say it was nice meeting you and thank you for stopping by the open house.
Let's try even more proactive than that though.
So you said without follow
card?
up, like follow up without.
Yeah, like,
Part? Oh,
Sending a card, they're all good, all these are ways that you probably should.
It sounds like a riddle, following up without following. Yeah, here, there's a trick.
So you actually, let's try to secure an appointment while they're still there.
Oh.
One of the best things that I like to do is before they walk out, be like, hey, I want the opportunity to introduce to you who I am. You probably know about the real estate agents already. So how about like a 10-minute quick cup of coffee at Starbucks on Monday or something like that? What day works best for you? Monday or Tuesday, right?
You just reminded me, I did a showing of my niece's property on Sunday. And a family came in and I just kind of casually mentioned, wouldn't you rather own your own home? I know this is beautiful, but wouldn't you rather have your own? And she said, yeah, but I don't know if you're ready. And I said, sure you are. Or at least have you tried?
Yeah.
And she said, no.
No.
So when I sent her a text to fill in the application on Zillow, she was like, well, let's forget the application and go with trying to see if we can get something.
Yeah,
And then I'm like, well, okay, what's my next step? And I said, okay, I have an in-house lender that can probably help you. But now I'm thinking, shouldn't I do like a buyer consultation? So I need to meet with her and her husband.
yeah. A lot of the buyers are gonna be a little standoffish. They go to your open house with intentions on looking. not knowing if they actually want to pull the trigger or not, right? They call those looky loos, right?
Mhm.
So if you're able to actually secure a meeting with them, even if for 10 minutes, ask them all the questions. You don't want to ask them the questions right now, especially if they're in your open house. Someone else comes in, you're not going to be able to give them your undivided attention, right? So create that dynamic of being able to have that.
So we-
always ask, uh-huh.
Let's do it.
Of course, because otherwise you're just gonna slip between their fingers and they're never going to open again,
Okay,
okay?
thank you.
Follow up with them, just let them know, like, hey, you're really in good hands. I understand that you love having someone else on party, but what if you're able to get your own place? Right?
Right.
You're actually making them think, oh, what if it is a possibility?
Yeah, I use that a lot with people too. You know. You're throwing money in the wind every month, like, why wouldn't you rather just own something?
Yeah. And in the span of 30 years, that's a whole house paid off anyway, it's still going on, right?
I was just reading an article about how single women are outpacing single men in home ownership, and I'm like, I have a lot of single lady friends. Go for it, let me target them.
And to be completely open and honest, the biggest aha that we can take away today is you're only stopping yourself here. You have so much potential to be getting a transaction every month, if not more. But I think because of our own limited beliefs, we're kind of holding ourselves back, right? We have a lot of buyer friends, just like you said, you have a lot of single buyer friends. You're probably afraid to approach them because you're afraid of having them come up with you with all these objections about it. But the more objections that you get, the better it is for you to handle it. So keep going through it. That's to go with friends and family instead of like a random stranger who is interested, and then you lose that transaction because you didn't know how to respond to that, right?
Sure.
So like, for example, the interest rates, do we all know how to get around that?
What do you mean?
When someone comes with you, I'm not ready to buy right now because the interest rates are really high.
Marry the house they rent.
You sound like Chris.
What'd you say, Jennifer? I said, marry the house they rent. There you go.
We've heard that probably every day.
Yeah, so for example, for all your single friends over there, why not buy an income property that you can live in and also rent out rooms and stuff like that?
I mean, that's my own goal, so yeah, that's what I'm trying to like help my friends, achieve as well
Yeah.
together,
So what's stopping them? That's the question.
Yeah,
Probably you, right?
me. I need to get in ahead more. I literally post about renting versus buying like pretty much weekly.
Uh-huh.
That's like, that's where I'm targeting the most on my social media. Obviously, we're doing our, our other daily success, but yeah. Especially in LA, right? We have mortgage payment rent.
It's expensive.
Yeah, I just helped one of my good friends also, they didn't even know the possibility of getting an FHA on a multi-unit property. They're like, what, you can actually do that? I'm like, look, best thing that you can do for yourself is to talk to a lender. You don't have to make any decisions. Don't worry about running your credit, you'll go up after you purchase your house, it'll go up like crazy, right? So don't come up with all these excuses in your mind not to get it, just go ahead and go for it. Get that peace of mind, find out what you qualify for, find out how to get to where you want to be to qualify for your house, right? Set yourself a goal if you're not there yet, That's right.
Yep.
Never mind the interest rates, it's not gonna stay high forever, I mean. My first property was, I think I was 25 and stuff, and it's just, if I had all the tools that I had now, I wouldn't have done like half the things that I did, and 2 years later, it's like that, Question so far?
Is that on our,
I think
Yeah, it's on page 260.
there was one that said offer.
Yeah, it's on page 260. Just
Go
go
on,
up.
go one more.
oh, yeah,
There we go.
I see it.
You guys all have the same thing, it's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's not really, but
They have more on yours.
Yeah, sometimes you have a lot more on yours than we do, so,
Okay.
but this is on.
it looks like for this one, we have more than you do.
Hey, Bernie.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so, I think I asked this earlier, but have any of you guys actually written an offer yet?
Yeah.
No, oh, you have, okay, who was it for?
Wrote one for, single family house and then wrote another for 4 unit.
Is it for a client or was it for a friend or
No,
yourself?
fine,
Okay,
fine, send it in for.
okay. And did the transaction go through smoothly, A to B?
Yeah, been through, quite smooth, the single family home at first. It was kind of touch and go because the listing agent was a jackass, yeah. And he was the relative of the seller. And so, it was kind of touch and go, but
Yeah.
thank goodness I had a good TC, Chris is an
Yeah.
excellent TC, and she was just great for me, because that was my first offer.
Yeah.
And I didn't know lots of, I don't know, but Chris was so good.
Remember when I told you guys in the beginning that the majority of writing offers on emotional games? We're gonna go through that, and that is the biggest piece of it, because you are gonna see a lot of it, you know? And it's not that, they know what they're doing, but we're here, like, we're at KW because we're all a friendly family, so we want the best for both parties. With that said, though, we also have to know how to like maneuver all the obstacles of dealing with the listing agents, dealing with like sellers that absolutely want to get their top dollar and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then the 4 unit, then I wrote an offer for the listing agent. He also happened to be the son of the seller, so he was great. He was great, and I thought the 4 unit offer was gonna be much more difficult, but it wasn't. Turned out, what he was asking for, the seller, the buyers were willing to offer, but it didn't appraise for what he was asking, and I just knew that was gonna be the end of the deal. But finally he said, and that was just in in July last year, so things were, just getting ready to change. He says, you know what, Bernice, I got an investor who wants to buy, but you're just gonna change the rent for the tenant. And my buyer wanted to keep Section 8 tenants, and those people had been there, the one had been there 30 years. And the property on price for $885, and he was asking $949. And I said, my buyers can't pay that. And he said, I want to sell to your buyers. So they were excited and stuff like that.
You're the emotional you're talking, the emotion you were talking about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the steps that I like to do, and I'm sure you all will get to the same point, is just kind of probing with the listing agent, what is their motivating factor? The seller in this case, they didn't want to go through the emotions of having to put it back on the market and run into possibly the same issue again of not appraising it. So he probably just like, all right, let's just go ahead and do it. Which is good. That very rarely happens. Most of the time we kind of meet in the middle. But once again, because you knew that they were related to the sellers, that it's probably gonna be a little bit more biased because they're gonna want to protect their sellers' rates at all costs. I mean, their price, right? Their most valuable asset. So it becomes a little bit more emotional. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of role playing here. Who wants to volunteer? What Colleen? So let's say that we have a buyer who's ready to go, fully pre-approved, just wants to write an offer on this desired house. It's called the listing agent. Better.
So are we in person or are we?
Oh, we're over the phone.
We're over the phone. Hi, it's Christine. How are you today?
Good.
And so you're interested in 1234 Lucia Street.
Okay.
Wait a second. So are you ready to proceed with putting?
Oh, no, I'm the listing agent.
Oh, you're the listing agent. Okay. Like, totally, like, okay.
I was wondering.
Okay, Hi, okay, I have a client who stayed in 123 Lucia Street. Can you tell me, anything about the buyer's motivations, for selling today, or this property?
So we just want the highest and best price. We're trying to avoid, I know it's a downshifting market, so we're just trying to avoid having the buyers back out. So how strong are your buyers?
They're pre-qualified, they have a large size deposit and, the rest will be mortgaged.
Okay. What is a large size?
So assuming the property is 1.5, $300,000.
Okay. Okay, that's standard. Are they willing to shorten any of the contingencies?
They are, basically whatever the minimum, or escrow period is, they're good to go with that.
Okay. Okay, well, go ahead and just submit it.
Okay.
Anyone else? That's it. These are great. One of the things that I like to do is to find out how many other offers there are. Most of the time, they're willing to kind of give you you know, where their price is at. Well, we have 3 offers on the table, none of them exceed, 1.5 right now, so they're all about asking. That's when you want to kind of relay into, segue into asking them like, okay, what is it gonna take to get this? Here's the situation, my wife really love this property, I showed them like 17 bajillion properties, and they just really want this, so what is it gonna take? That's the question that I always ask. A lot of times you get these like, smart in your face, like, you get these listing agents that don't want to give you anything. To just be like, okay, if I were to present you a full asking price, how are we looking? You can ask questions like that as well. The better relationship that you have beforehand, it also sets the perfect precedent into the escrow process for negotiations, requests for repairs, incorrect appraisals and stuff like that. Okay.
And also it's good because you know what your buyer can, what they're like, what they're working with. So you also want to see if, you even have a, stake in the game, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you take that back to your buyer and just be like, hey, so it turns out there's 3 other offers, for example, and just be like, would you be willing to go a little bit higher? I know, just so you know, it may or may not appraise that value, so what would that look like for you? And you give them the option of like having a conversation. If it doesn't appraise, are you willing to back out or are you willing to cover the rest? Yeah. Does that sound?
What does that look like when the appraisal, like if it doesn't appraise, does that mean that the person just has to pay extra deposit?
Correct.
Yes.
Or you have the option, like I said, if you have pretty good rapport with the listing agent, you can ask them like, hey, the house and appraised, we're off by 30,000, let's go ahead and meet in the middle. You come down 15,000, my buyer will come out of pocket 15,000. Unless you want to be like, play hardball, like if he's your brother, like that, you can just say like, hey, it didn't appraise at this, we either need to come down 30,000 or we walk.
But let's say there's like an inspection contingency, can you obviously negotiate even more at that point? Let's say they need to, like a roof issue or something, like, can we also say, well, based on the, the roofing, report that came back, can we also, request that towards, like the credit towards to meet in the middle even more, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, you definitely can. The one caveat to that is you gotta be careful because the request for repairs is not a request for upgrades.
Okay.
So if the inspection report
Or
comes
like
back,
money towards, right? Like put money towards, they don't have to fix it, but like. Put the,
just ask for price reduction then.
okay,
You can ask for credit towards, but the credit will only be covering the closing costs,
okay.
right? So depending on what the mortgage is, the closing costs might be less than what you're requesting for. So we've seen that happen as well. So in that case, you can, there's so many different types of negotiations that you can do. You can either request for a price reduction altogether. Nice. Or you can just in the middle, you can request for a price reduction and maybe credit towards those costs up to like whatever the amount is.
What if any, contingencies would you encourage your buyer to, release? Agree to, not.
That is a good question, but it really depends on the house. Like, for example, are you willing to remove contingencies? Are you willing to remove the paper contingencies when you know that the house was overpriced? No, right? Would you be willing to remove inspection contingencies or even current contingencies if you know that the house is? Right, so, but if you know that the house is completely turnkey and you know that there's like 5 other offers on the property. You might be willing to shorten the contingencies a little bit, right? So that's why the rapport with the listing agent is a huge difference. They'll actually, most of them will actually be willing to tell you, hey, a lot of these other offers, they're willing to remove the appraisal, are you gonna be willing to do the same thing? Sometimes I'll say like, you know what, go ahead and just submit your best offer. And then you'll receive a counter offer requesting to remove the appraisal contingencies or whatever. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's it's unique, it's a case by case scenario. Questions so far?
I just want to fully understand the whole appraisal process thing. So like if an offer's put in for a certain amount and then appraises at a lower amount, then that's actually, even though like appraisals can be different based on different appraisers and things like that, that information is actually significant enough to change the outcome of, like, you can.
There is a rebuttal process if you feel that the appraisal just did not do a good job. That would be up to the lender to go ahead and submit that if they agree with you, so they'll have you submit a form. In most cases though, I mean, they are professionals just as we are, so it's very rare to see that happening.
Yeah, okay, yeah, cool, thank you. I'm not talking about specifically like a discrepancy with the appraisal, the appraiser's value. It's like changes would actually need to be made if the appraised value is lower than the offer. Like, that's actually significant enough of an issue to where that makes sense, to where like contingencies and things like that would need to be altered.
Can you give me an example on that?
Yeah, so if we're just gonna use like round numbers, so if an offer has been for $1 million on home, but actually appraised at $950 or something like that,
Okay.
then that's actually significant enough of an issue to where like the offer would need to change in some way, or like you would need to speak with the listing agent about this. Just like, hey, this, this happened, can we meet some way with this contingency,
Sure.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Okay, that just
So
seems,
put it to, you're the buyer, okay?
Yeah.
You're trying to buy $1 million house, but now it's only appraising for 950.
Right.
Would you want to cover the extra 50,000? Maybe, it's possible. How badly do you want the house?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So you gotta talk to the buyer about that one and see, hey, maybe they want the house that badly, that they just want to go ahead and pay up the extra 50,000.
Okay.
Now, us as agents, though, we do have our due diligence of asking them, like, do you want me to request for, a negotiation of like maybe meeting in the middle or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, 50,000 is a lot of land, so.
I guess what you think too, correct me if I'm wrong, are you saying like to ask for like a price reduction at that point?
Yeah, it just seems odd to me, and maybe it's also coming out of the market that was present a year and a half ago, whatever,
Right.
to where it's like. That probably happened with every single transaction.
Yes, absolutely.
So maybe I'm doing it with that, but it's like they put in an offer. That was their offer, so it's just odd to me to think that appraisal would affect that, that offer that much.
Correct.
But that is, I'm just clarifying that, like,
No,
that
see,
is actually
Good question. So,
affecting it.
2 years ago, we're setting the expectation with every buyer that, hey, you're probably gonna be writing in an offer that could be more than what it's gonna be appraised for. And because you're setting the expectation beforehand, the buyer's already gonna be ready and willing to possibly pay the difference, just so they don't get outbid.
Right.
But in this market, it's a little bit different. So of course, you're gonna do your due diligence and make sure that they are writing in a decent offer, right? Not an overpriced offer. So let's say, for example, you run your comps and you find out that the comps are right at 950. You set the expectation with the buyer, hey, the average comps right now are at 950. I know we're gonna be writing in at $1 million. If you write it anything less than that, we take a chance at not getting our offer accepted.
Yeah.
So when the appraisal comes in at 950, or if and when the appraisal does come in at 950, what would you like to do in this? Right?
Thank you.
And I found sometimes it depends too on who the lender is, like their programs, like NACA buyers. They cannot, if that appraisal comes in higher than the asking price, they cannot buy the property under no circumstance. They can't put in their money in there
If the
and all.
appraisal comes in over.
If it comes in higher than the listing price, I don't care if the person has the
Oh,
money.
no, that's the best case scenario.
Yeah.
That's every buyer's dream. They're instantly buying it.
Right. Yeah, I've had buyers who said, okay, Ms. Guy, I'll put, you can't because their lender said, no, we're not gonna let the buyer pay more for that property than what it's appraised for. You know, and sometimes the listing agent knows, that the property is appraised higher than really what it's worth. They
Yeah.
know.
Ultimately, the worst thing that we want to do is just assume that we're going to answer for our buyers. So you always want to talk to them before you actually have a conversation with the listing agents. In my 9 years of practice, I only had an appraisal go above one time. Usually appraisers are just like, okay, well, it's that value, and that's it. Which is a little unsettling to the seller, but you know, you don't represent the seller, you represent the buyers. Fair question, how often, you as a buyer's agent, how often do you send out the appraisal reports to the listing agent? As a disclosure?
I'm guessing it's
Well,
never,
yeah, that-
it's a trick question.
Yeah, never. Yeah, a lot of listing agents will ask for it for comp purposes, like if they farm the area, never give it to them, because that paper, that proprietary information belongs to the buyer. The buyer paid for the appraisal, and that's it.
Right.
And you can let them know what it appraised at, but never give them the information. Okay. Question so far?
Wait, at the very end, you said you can let them know what it appraised at, but not giving them like.
And right.
Or the report.
What the actual comps are, what the actual appraisal report is.
Yeah. On report.
Yeah, you don't have to give them. This.
I just wanted to say, like, for me, this class right here is the one I've really been like waiting for.
Me too.
Me too. Been in sales my whole life, like talking to people, the negotiating, like that's awesome. I'm great with that.
Yeah.
But this is something I don't want to like, come off as a total rookie. Just really want to know, everything that I need to for my buyers.
Yeah, I agree. This is the one that I've kind of been waiting for.
Listings as well, right?
Oh, yeah, let's buyer, seller, whatever, but it's all relevant, it's all important.
Yeah.
And everyone always says that everyone I've spoken to always says that this is probably the hardest part of beginning to end of a transaction.
Absolutely. It's like practicing, right? You practice, and then put it together. Yeah, I agree. We're gonna take a lot of hands-on. Okay, so we got a lot of people. We're gonna be doing a lot of like interactive work of like creating actual.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I have enough context. I may have, but that's okay. Okay, so actually writing an offer. So just one person so far has written an actual offer.
In here.
Oh, or at least have.
Okay, long time. Okay, so you can write. So when you're actually writing an offer, what have you learned so far that you should actually be discussing with your buyers? It's a very rhetorical question, so just answer. Like when you have your buyers consultations and then you go through the pre-qualification process. Now
What kind of price? Agency or maybe?
what?
Kind of what? Agency.
absolutely.
The price, the terms, the,
Everything.
And she goes, disclosure.
A lot of the times, the seller disclosures will not be given to you until after you open up escrow. At that time. By the way, are you guys comfortable with letting all your clients know that you're a new agent?
No.
Okay, no, that's fair.
I mean, if they know me, I think they already are, gonna do us, you know?
I just don't offer them.
Not necessarily.
I think it's just too big of a purchase that some people are kind of like turned away from it.
You don't wanna make them uncomfortable
Sure.
either, right? What do you think?
If you're comfortable with letting them know, just let them know that you have done all your research and you know, you feel like you're a pro agent, but you know, you just don't have the actual experience yet. For me, when I was telling you that I door knocked like my first 2 weeks I got a listing, I was scared. And I wouldn't have even been able to kind of hide the fact that I was a new agent. I mean, you know, I couldn't even pretend to say that, oh yeah, I'm a seasoned agent, I've been doing this for years, which is actually the truth. My parents were agents, my grandparents were also agents.
Oh,
It's in your DNA.
Oh, okay, no.
I came from the corporate world, so when I decided to go into real estate, like. When I was 28, I was like, I don't even want to do this, I didn't even have the heart to do it, I just did it because I hated the corporate environment. I saw how happy my parents were, so that's why I got into it. So when I was going knocking on every single knock that I was doing, every single house that I was knocking on, I was like, what am I doing? Go back.
You're like, don't answer.
Yeah. Letting them know, okay, we're gonna go through this process together.
Yeah, I don't think that I would hide it. I think obviously, I think you gotta play it by ear, right? I think that disclose what needs to be disclosed. Obviously, I don't think I lie and say I'm seasoned if I'm not. But I also might say, well, is it okay if I bring in my partner, which would maybe be my mentor, to help us in writing this, you know, and stuff like that.
And there's no wrong answer. The reason why I'm asking you guys is so that we can take like maybe a little bit of role playing. If you wanted to go ahead and say that you are a seasoned agent, or if you want to say that you're a brand new agent, like what are workarounds? Because if you're afraid of that client potentially saying, I'd rather not work with you, you're a new agent. What are workarounds for that? Like, how do you combat
that you're part of the team and I'd like to bring a colleague in.
Perfect.
To assist in this process.
that? Perfect.
Yeah,
Next year.
I would feel more comfortable saying that.
Yeah, like I'm part of the team that has 20 years of experience and I'd love to, you know, get their feedback on it.
I think some of our restrictions, like Bob was saying, like, you know. When they ask like how many homes have you sold or anything like that, you can just say, you know, you're a part of the team that's. You know,
So 30
so
transactions.
30 transactions left.
When I was actually asked that my first couple of transactions and my broker said to just use the office numbers.
Yeah.
I'm really comfortable with that.
That's what Bob said, to use office numbers.
Yeah. So my response is always, oh, too many to count.
What else is it inside of that? There isn't a whole lot of.
And I'm like, okay.
I'm not gonna see that anywhere.
Use your mentors, use whatever you got, use your team. Pull up all the numbers if you want to. Any other rebuttals to that experiences? Is this helping you with possible objections in the future?
Yeah.
Okay. If someone says, how many have you sold last year alone? What's your, because you're gonna get that a lot.
I use the office numbers again. That's
I'll
what I
agree with
I use the office last year.
I'm gonna always pull up the office numbers.
I don't even know the office number.
I think we had, I love the office numbers.
We had personality, but.
Earl should look it up on,
And then, you know, they tag numbers on the board back there, who did what.
Yeah, they do
It's
tag
kind
numbers.
of- They do it every month. I mean, cause I look at it since I didn't come in.
Does that help you guys with confidence? though?
I think so. We need something.
yeah, I want to be prepared for the question because I know I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
Because I don't wanna be like the deer in headlights whenever they ask that.
You're my
And
first.
then like, yeah, I don't wanna be like, oh, you're my first person, and you're like.
What is the standard earnest money deposit?
20%.
5,000.
That's actually the deposit before the deposit, that's like the security, of, I really want this property, this is what I'm willing to show you how much I want it.
10%.
5%, 3%.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so glad I asked that.
What's the?
The purchase price. Now, if it's a FHA or if it's, of course, there's different circumstances. The standard is usually 3%, because that's what shows to the listing agent more than the seller that they're serious, they're ready to go. But like I said, if they're like a FHA or if they're like a VA or even a 5% conforming loan, just do whatever the buyer is comfortable with. Let the buyer know that if they decide to pull out of the escrow before the contingency deadline, they'll get that money back in 10 months. And that's where you as an agent will really shine by showing that, like, yeah, I'll fight for that money, don't worry about it. So 3%, due diligence inspection periods, do you guys know what the timeframes are?
What number is that?
Like overall.
Due diligence, inspection
Or just
period.
the inspection.
There's a inspection. Appraisal. Loan.
Termite, is termite part of the inspection, usually they're separate, but
Good question. Is termite mandatory?
no.
Isn't it up to 17 days depending on
17 days for,
the contingencies? Depending on what they are, so
that's good.
finance, inspection, and. I gotta say what is.
Inspection.
Finding all
appraisal.
contingencies, right?
So this is why we're going through this process right now, because they actually just changed last year. So before it was 14 inspection, 17 for the appraisal, 21 for the loan. Now the appraisal and the inspection is both 17 days, and then the loan is 21 days.
Is in our notes.
No.
Can you list one at a time? It'll be in this one. But just the
Inspection 17, appraisal 17, and loan 21.
But if you're gonna write an offer on a slam dunk house, you know that your clients are fully pre-approved. Don't be afraid to shorten it.
Don't forget what.
Don't be afraid to shorten the timeframe. I've been in, honestly, probably the last like 5 or 6 transactions, representing the buyer side. I've gone over the timeframe, and as long as you have good rapport with the listing agent, you can buy 2 extra days before you're. What happens if you don't? You guys know?
If you don't meet those, well, if you don't meet them and you don't bring it up, then you can, but the offer is the whole thing done, yeah.
So once you're in escrow, it's nearly impossible at that point for the seller to go ahead and just cancel willingly. They have to go through the legal payments. So if you're not making the deadline for the contingency removal, for example, they have to give you what's called a notice to perform. So the notice to perform will give you 2 days, 48 hours to go ahead and respond to that. And if that's the case, if you still don't respond, then they can go ahead and cancel household. And they can even try to fight for the deposit. But you never want to get yourself into that situation anyway. If your buyers are reluctant at that point, you need to immediately have that conversation with them about, hey, do you still want to buy it? Because I'm trying to save your deposit right now, so let me know. Okay. Time for seller acceptance. Do you guys know the timeframes on that?
For the time the offer is submitted, you mean?
By default, it's 72 hours, 3 days. So you write an offer and they don't respond by then. Technically, the contract will expire. But in most cases, like, you get a lot of listing agents that'll say like, oh, right when the offers are due, they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm out of time right now, I'll get back to you tomorrow. It's fine. Don't worry about having to write up a new contract for your buyers. You don't want to go through that hassle again, especially because it's already a very emotional process for your buyers, right? What is the average escrow timeframes?
45 days.
I was gonna say 45, but 30 to 45?
Usually 30 to 45 days. So what do you want to do when so let's say that the buyers will obviously want 30 days because they want their house as soon as possible, right? So what is the best practice to do in ensuring that 30 days will be okay?
Pre-approval or pre-qualification.
Uh-huh.
Um, Probably shortened, if there is any contingencies, shorten or eliminated contingencies.
If the buyer is willing to go ahead and shorten the appraisal and the loan contingencies, what is the best practice to do before you go ahead and write that in a contract?
Put in an offer.
Before you even get to that point? You want to call the lender, make sure that the lender is okay with that. Because the last thing that you want to do is to open up escrow, send the contract over to the lender and they'll be like, whoa, I can't do this. And you're screwed, right? Okay. Closing date, yeah, it's usually 30 to 45 days. If there's multiple offers and you know that the other offers are like, shortened days. And make sure, again, to talk to the lender and see if they can have any wiggle room in closing. Home warranty, do you guys know about the home warranty?
No, very little.
So we have a vendor that comes in all the time. It's either Chris TV or I think it's Sean Perfect. I mean, there's also Susie Pelshaw. There's a lot of vendors that come in. Feel free to ask them like what the standard like home warranty process is. Depending on what the house upgrades have, like if there's AC, there's swimming pool. I think the standard right now is like 480 or something like that. That's just for the bare minimum for the 1-year warranty. Who pays for that, by the way?
So,
Correct. So when you're writing an offer, you usually want to request, of course, because you're representing the buyer, you want to request for the highest as possible. But you don't want to go, like, you don't want to offend the seller by requesting for $1,000 home warranty when it's only standard to offer like, 600 or something like that. I usually keep it to like maybe 650 and just kind of, if there's any wiggle room, if not, then the seller will get credited back the remainder of what you didn't use. But make sure to get copies of the brochures for the home warranties, familiarize yourself. All that will go such a long way when you're representing your buyer. Okay.
There are some brochures too on the wall leading to Chris So's office.
Oh,
I
yeah.
noticed the news check.
Okay.
I'm sorry, really quickly, the home warranty covers what? What?
Every home warranty will be different. So that, again, it's just like the home warranty that I always get is through Chris TV. That usually covers just like, most of the appliances, usually only one refrigerator because most people these days have multiple refrigerators. So, water heater, minor roof repairs, plumbing, stuff like that. But there's conditions, of course. So again, just try to go through the brochures and just find out, or call the vendors directly and find out what they could do. So there's a lot of, like, Chris will offer 13 months instead of 12 months. There's a lot of perks that might be beneficial to one buyer, not the next. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you.
It's usually 12 months though.
Yeah.
Just that long.
Oh, and one side note is that the home warranty will always start 30 days after. So if you know that there's a possible problem with like, the water heater, just to prevent it from looking like fraud, they're gonna say that, okay, your home warranty will start 30 days after escrow close. Okay. The rest is all agendas and stuff like that. Did I forget anything?
And in that instance, when the warranty doesn't kick in until 30 days after escrow, is the owner and seller responsible for things before that period, or how does that work?
It's a case by case scenario. So for example, like, let's say that the water heater, just because we keep talking about the water heater, let's say that the water heater just starts to leak out of nowhere. Was it in the inspection report that it could be a possible problem? If so, then that's a known issue, right? But if it's not a known issue, I would immediately talk to the listing agent and see what type of like negotiation that you can do. That's a great question. A lot of time, I mean, I have seen before where Christy was actually able to pull some strings and just have it right go. Because it was not on contract it wasn't on any of the disclosures, the transfer disclosures, nor the SPP or any of that. Right, so with the unknown issue to all parties, so.
It's just good information to know like how to best serve your client should something like that arise.
Yeah,
So that's good to know, thank you.
I mean, the reality is that that's like a 1 in like 1,000 chance of that happening, but yeah. What else? I think it is-
So what do you want kids, we bought our home, there was fresh paint around the doors. And I said, why is there fresh paint around the doors? Is there a leak? Oh, no, there's not a leak. And then those Mayan storms came in and our house just flooded, floors flooded and everything else. So if I'm selling a home, if I have a buyer and I see new paint around the base of the bottom of the doors. And what you document, well, this is a problem, this is a problem, it's not about the home inspection. Because there was no damage, the walls weren't discolored, so what do you do in that case? If you as a buyer's agent feel that there's something that's being disclosed, and might come up later after they purchase the home, then what do you do?
I would definitely bring it to their attention, hey, there's some possible, like, covering up of some stuff. I would recommend, I'll ask the listing agent to ask their sellers, but I would also recommend getting a professional. They'll tell you, hey, this is a remediation of leak or something like that. And if the sellers, if they covered it up, would you really want to buy a house from them knowing that they covered it? They covered up that.
Because what else did they cover up?
Exactly,
They did, they covered up a lot.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, trust me, your listing agent is not gonna wanna get into a potential litigation case, so we definitely wanna bring it up as soon as possible.
And on the, as the buyer's agent, when you're filling out that, your observation as an agent, would that be something that you would put on that observation sheet,
Yeah.
you would put what you see once you walk through and inspect the house, something like that.
Yeah,
I would think that you could document that.
so what you're talking about is called the AVID, right? The
Right.
Agent Visual Inspection.
Right.
We're not professionals, so we don't really know, so what we can only disclose, what we can only write down is what we see with our eyes.
Right.
So we can't generally say that there was a possible leak, so what we wanna say is just like, fresh paint over there.
Right.
Prior to
That's
their.
what she's not here.
Right.
That happens when you're actually in escrow though, so you. Keep in mind, when you do the AVID also, your listing agent is gonna have to sign off on that, so if they see that you're writing something else like that down and they're signing off on that, that means that they're technically aware. So you definitely wanna bring up that as a possible problem before it gets any worse. That really happened to you, that's.
It happened, and then our deck, the deck is go across back, we know about the deck, I think. The deck fell down and they won't let us put it back up, it says they're permitted, like you haven't permitted, it's still permitted half there, so.
They said it was permitted, but it wasn't.
Well, the city is saying it's never permitted, but it's 45 feet wide and 15 feet deep. So there had to be a permit for that deck. They're saying, no, it was never permitted. No, yeah, there's a permit someplace, they put everything on Market Beach, so, I mean, so I don't know where. So we can't put our deck back up.
You cannot even,
I can make it smaller. I can bring it in,
When did you buy that house?
5 feet or less, it doesn't matter. It's not included in the square footage of the property, but because it's 15 feet, it's gonna include the top and the bottom, and include the square footage of the property, so I don't want to square footage amount for that. So, I want to,
and when did you buy it?
1990. Six.
So that's a long past
Long
the statute of limitation.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
I know, yeah. I don't know if I-
yeah, and majority of, like, one of the reasons why I was kind of triggered to becoming an agent myself is just because learning from my mistakes, learning from the mistakes that my parents have made and my friends have also made. If I had $1 for every time I heard one of my friends and family saying that they did not like their agent, they weren't represented well, I wouldn't even see them as at all, but because of that, that's why I got into this business. You wanna, of course, it's a learning curve for all of us, I still make a lot of mistakes, it's how well you can jump out of those mistakes and just make sure that they're in good hands.
I think you could never check before we got our customers. Well, I've never heard from the agent.
And you never heard from her?
Wow,
Wow.
And then the ownership.
Afterwards.
But we're gonna be so much better than that, right?
So,
Right.
questions so far.
Oh my gosh.
But then you report an agent if you know they're doing something wrong.
I would. Well,
I don't know about that. It's avoid agent mistakes. But it has been a major mistake, something that.
the only reason why I would say I would is, well, it also depends on the situation, but you don't wanna. You're representing your buyer, right? And your buyer, if you want them, you don't want them to have any regrets. We're in the business of just like being our best selves, you know, and we want them to also refer you much more business down the line, right? So if you're not representing them, for me, it's also very important though, this is just my personality. Like if I go to my car dealership to get service and then they treated me badly, I'm not just gonna be like, oh, you know, I'll just brush it under the rug. They want their positive service, I'll be honest and let them know. That's how they get better, otherwise they're just never gonna learn.
True.
So that's just my take on things. I would let them know as well, personally. Yeah, avoid repeating mistakes. So what are some other problems that we've seen?
Well, the ones that we've been warned about are, you know, not knowing and writing up a contract properly on behalf of the buyer.
Okay,
Like,
what type of property are we talking about? Cause it happens, even,
Yeah.
it happens with me, like a lot of time our technology will miss the signature that's required. The little things like that, it's fine, we just take it to Chris and sort of send it out real quick, or we'll do it ourselves. Things like that happen, so like, what else?
well, I guess people have, in other classes have indicated, you know, that they can tell someone who hasn't taken the time to actually fill in all the details in a contract. And will, when they're presenting the contracts then to the seller,
Yeah,
they're gonna say, well, not comfortable with this file. These are the ones that, you know, if you have multiple offers, this is what you do, or this is the offer that's come in, I feel we should counter on X, Y, Z because they're not detailed properly.
yeah, that happens. And that's why we're here to actually go over contracts. So what I was supposed to tell you is that you guys are actually supposed to be going to the contracts classes to learn how to write proper contracts. But I mean, why not have some fun today, right?
Yeah.
So, do we want to go through this? Because I feel like what I'm telling you right now is all hearsay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I printed out a couple of active listings. These are actually from agents in our office, just why not, right? And then if you guys can pair up, because I didn't print up enough. Let's pair up.
How many you have?
I have 5 contracts.
Threes.
That's right.
thank you. Everyone's.
We try, I'm sitting over right now. Yeah, right.
Yeah, when we do like our buyer showings and stuff, I remember how this is print out the MLS.
Yeah,
But like, there's a way to do it on the MLS. where
Yeah, we're just
print out
your.
Yeah, just,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I get it all planned for like my buyer, just get like this information, like, and then it says presented by Jenna.
Yeah.
How-
Probably because of some sort of litigation.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is one
One contract.
contract.
That's the point where it's a little super basic. That's about like 1,000. You know, how far it goes.
So are we ready to flip right now? Okay.
So we are going, so what are we doing? So what we want to do is we want to let, we want, okay, let's go ahead and just put it. And maybe, let's write up it as 30-day contract. Hold on. Standard contingencies. 20% down payment. You guys are feeling extra brave, feel free to role play one person as the buyer, so you can get your practice on how to talk to buyers as well.
All right.
Well, don't we usually just write this for them, or we don't write this with them, do we?
Again,
Oh,
my,
You
my
write
idea,
it up, you write it.
you wanna get people's feel, like, some people are just like, hey, electronic signatures only. Other people are helpful, like my last couple of clients, they were like, it's cool, damn, we have documents, they don't know how to do any of that.
Okay.
Without-
That means I so my, again, she kind of like me, but I've only like maybe done a couple practice examples of this, but you know, she also like gave me no time, this is all I need you to fill out, here. Other than that, I wouldn't have known what the heck I was doing.
It's all
So-
disclosure, right?
Yeah, technically,
Okay, so
Not like the addendums.
do we have a second? Because
no, we're just gonna go for it, I guess we're just gonna go for it.
Alright, so really.
you know more.
I'll read it.
Learn us.
The performance being perfected in connection with. Here, so obviously don't think that that, at least, right?
Excited for when you, so there's maybe you don't
Always bring up. She, I just thought in my mind, we'll just sit out. This is the big, right? So this can actually go up to like 3 or 4, depending on how many people, that's one thing to remember, how many people are gonna be, like, people, names, right? And you can add more names. So like, obviously, we are representing the buyer, right? We'll just put J O. Okay.
So this is for the signing.
Stay, everything.
This is right. Did you let them know?
Yeah, this is an author.
We're actually
Right.
gonna go under.
And then so that's explain what you want.
This is the offer. Yeah, this is how long it is. It is a beast of a beast. When you're on the MLS and you're doing this, like you're scrolling for days.
Okay, so this entire packet here is.
Is the offer. Yeah.
It was all.
Yes, sir. Okay, so.
This is practical stuff. Okay, so you're-
Yeah, it's like we need to know.
In our MLS, it's not gonna play. This is already gonna be on it. Right, we're gonna have our, you know, our DRE, like all that, but we have, the main important thing is to put all the.
Okay.
If this is fine. That's a good. It's sitting there for like hours.
How do we get this entire packet? Is this something that we just like turn off the alarm?
No, we have already online too. Yeah. So watch.
There's so much stuff like really important stuff that we don't know.
It's this private offer. This is about to have, because I never seen this login, form.
Like this, that we like this going, I don't know. How much is that?
We're basically, this is the attorney part of our job. We never took any. Like.
Like, not when we're talking to the pool, like. we're kidding. That's like.
Office with you that maybe sit down with the mentor, I did it well with her, right? And she gave me a little like, so this is what it looks like when this, what I did, when we get to these parts, right? Like she put, like she gave me numbers like L1, L2, L3, like there are things that she like wanted me to check, I wanted me to fill out. These were her preferences, right, on every offer that she made. But like, it helped me when I was going through like the monotony of like the page up originally, so I fill out, what did I fill out? Let's do it over. Okay, so we already did the main thing. These are the buyers, okay, all of our information's automatically, we'll pretend that are right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's our average, okay, cool. So now, I know. Honestly, I'm just looking at, or there's a fillable section, right? Okay, so let's just focus on that for now. The confirmation required by sellers brokerage, this is another area. Yes, this is another thing that will automatically populate that. You have, this is where we put on for a seller's agent, if we're a buyer's agent, and then we fill out our information. So in this case, where the buyers are, yes. I think that we would probably check both of them, yes, ma'am. So in this case, we are the buyer's agent, but yes, ma'am. Yes, dear.
No, dear.
Jennifer.
No,
Okay.
I don't like Mr. Deer, or ma'am.
Okay. Both the buyer and seller agent, there's the buyer.
Okay.
Our license number gets populated again, okay? Boom. All right, this is blah, we don't care about any of this, yeah. Yeah, I know, but like, of all your status, like, I don't think that, oh, yeah. I'm like, what's? Okay, here's another part we need to fill out. Again, the agency problem where like, means a buyer, so we got. So buyers just sign. We have a.
Yeah, and the cool thing about the terms.
Okay. You know, you think it's really hard to write like that. You're gonna send us. Yeah, the possible representation of more than one buyer or seller, this is basically for the dual agency. But the, right, if there isn't a dual, more than one buyer or seller. Yeah, represent.
So literally, this thing is like, oh, this part is a relationship. Okay. Like, oh, here's your issue, blah, blah, blah. This is literally, oh, fair housing.
Right.
This is fair housing. Like, that's 2 days.
That's why, like, when she gave me these, she was just like, I don't care about any. Okay, so I can look at that. All the, oh, we're already confirmed. Again, there's more than one seller. But- Right on. Wire fund, electronic funds transfers.
It's a lot, and then you go, they want 3.2 million. Another person says. Later.
Oh, are we gonna hire the fill out?
No. We're pretty good with the word first. People are learning as we go here.
There's the alternatives to electronic.
We haven't looked.
By signing below the undefined
Yeah.
acknowledge that each.
But I'm just like, that's the challenge.
I think there's another area where they have to sign.
I didn't realize that you guys had never seen a contract, before, but afterwards, I'm just gonna tell you guys how it's not great. that it was.
Cool.
I mean, I'm very familiar with the contract. Like, the conversion, we sign again, we're gonna finish that.
And it is
Okay.
generally-
This is the fun part. These are all the boxes, these are all the things that we. This is the funky dunky part. So this is an offer from the buyer.
All of the disclosure.
All day.
So there's not to be like.
So like fire here, this property is to be acquired by, all this needs to be filled out.
Don't just pay somebody else to do it.
Really? This is the part that takes the longest, like, let's say we have an open, let's say there's an open house and like, you know, I mean,
$100 fee.
10 showings all weekend, right? This is what we have to do, like,
But
okay.
every single one of us.
Everyone we look at. I have to be there.
Now. Go on to the price competitors. You'll be able to.
Yeah, well, all the address.
So you're bringing this off of the CAR's website?
And I'll tell you how to do that, and I'm not good with technology, but I'll figure it out.
I love how this have these different things like data, you know, so like.
So do you see how her information again is repeated?
I'm sure
It's
we're
gonna
gonna
auto,
be.
all this stuff's gonna auto populate correct eventually, you know, but then before you put in the filler focus for. So you have to have their information. Yeah.
So then
This is obviously the actual meat and potatoes right here.
So,
Purchase price.
so do we put what they wanna offer?
Yeah. But no, first purchase price.
So what,
So what did we,
whatever's
what
listed
did we
here?
say? What was our terms? She gave us our term.
Oh, it's 30-day literacy standard, 20% down.
Oh, she didn't give us an amount. Oh, no, it's this back. So 3.19.
Down there, but we're not, that's not being, we're off beta.
No.
You just gotta put the right amount.
Yeah.
But that's not.
Right. I thought so.
So what's the goal?
Are we gonna offer list?
No,
Wanna offer list?
yeah, let's offer,
Do you wanna do 3,150?
So
three.
we are.
Three what?
3,150?
But is that really what we put on there, or are we just guessing right now?
I think I'm guessing. I don't know. Let me see if it's on here.
So under the purchase price on this one, do we put what it's listed for, or we're putting what they want to offer?
For the sake of argument, right now, you put it at the list.
That's what I'm about.
For the offer.
Okay.
So drop it below the same, below asking.
Yeah, then just write whatever they.
Okay.
Right now.
So we're gonna put the list.
What you're gonna put?
Okay. Not even whatever.
That's okay, whatever you want, not what.
And then like.
And that's box for box. There's literally a box, every one of these little boxes mean something and they all have to be like accounted for. So close the escrow. You have a thing here and she.
30 days, 45 days. We can just put 45, I guess. All cash.
Oh, you got it back.
Okay, all cash.
You always have to sign.
Do you want it to?
Or.
To get your offer more likely to get still you want that analysis. That's what you want.
You don't want to see.
Sometimes more time, you do, but I don't-
I think it's all gonna depend on what, right, or see how we need more time. So expiration of offer.
That's what you're saying, depending on like the time it takes.
This is why she was saying that we have to really make sure that all the ducks are in a row or like. Somebody else, we should have talked about lending, we didn't know if it's possible to do it in 30 days. Because if they sign off on our offer based on us saying 30 days, that's still.
So at this point, they're no longer lenders.
So this is our lender. What are you talking about?
Sellers.
Would, I'm,
That's the buyer contract.
yeah, no, I'm letting them know that.
Somebody's like, "Oh, we're not gonna go on." Yeah.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is I'm letting the seller, listing agent know that we can close in 30 days. We've already, like, we are pretty.
How do we know
ready to
it's
start
30
the
days?
Phone number and account.
Because
I typically default to the date. For the sake of marketing.
Will be wire transfer.
We want them to be as
the
confirmed
first
as possible.
money out.
Okay. So you can just set this in place, people wherever you want.
Oral confirmations.
Okay, in the practice. Of course, you're gonna have a conversation, you know,
We should always avoid.
are you comfortable with it is?
Okay, so guys, 20% was the one that you said, how was 20% on listing, and anybody else had like a lot of.
You got it, Tim? Ooh.
If it was for Angela, yeah, would she provide my details for the wire transfer information and they're all working directly with the.
Great.
You're one of those, I'm.
So.
Increase deposit, money placed into escrow after the initial deposit.
Purchase it.
I'll be like, hey.
You're.
Okay, loan amount.
Email wants to offer is accepted.
Oh,
Well, then we're
loan
gonna-
amount is supposed to be, that was P three.
For later. You want me to, we'll make sure that all the documents. Who has that much money for that? I don't know, like,
But we're getting 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1.
Okay.
Loan amount is supposed to be obviously list
They're the.
minus the 20%, right? That's what they're loaning us.
Yeah,
So what is that
Organizers
on our calculator?
who coordinate with title and everything else.
Right, okay.
2 million.
Because the whole purpose of this transaction or this part of it is to educate the buyer on what's going to happen in the process, not just writing down the details, but. What is it supposed to be? Advertising. Okay, 2 million, but I think you said 560,000.
Accept it? You want to do it, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Says I have no idea.
it is. So conventional or check the word conventional, percent,
State is
that,
Check off your name?
no,
only if it's not.
only if it's not conventional. And these don't apply, we're not. Yes. So balance of down payment, so purchase price total.
Full or is it better to do these numbers?
What is your?
What was the purchase? Balance of down payment, price total.
Okay, so the balance of the down
So
payment
this is an offer
is
from Pamela.
that, and then the purchase price total would be that, right? So we have to put it-
I think we're just gonna put a little higher right there.
Now, are you making a full price offer?
Yeah.
Which is less than that.
Well, yeah, but this is like big name stuff, you know,
Put a little-
okay,
Oh,
ready? Right? And again, a lot of it, we don't need to put more than likely, but like something good for us to see for the first time, you know.
Let's get it preloaded from.
Yeah, it'd be great. Better just be like a 1-page thing.
We did
It's like
check it.
the general thing, oh, those look good, okay, I'll put the canvas author at least. And then you-
I can very.
Yeah, I know, it feels like the contract, it's a contract for the contract.
Yeah, if you're like going from the thing before. I'd be like, oh, that's too low. You're like, "Jeez."
But it's not, a lot of this, auto.
So do you want to read my next 30? So you read, and then we'll check in a minute, but want to like read some of them.
Sure, I don't know.
Who's first one?
I need a buyer. and I don't know.
What's that mean?
So this
This is
information. I'm just gonna line this because we need to. The parcel number.
But we'll know on this meeting, I think it's.
I thought it has, more to it than
Make sure to look at it all at once. But if you don't, if you see it in there, then go ahead and describe it out.
If they're like already throwing that out there.
Yes.
Wow, are they putting that in MLS? It's because of the extended period of time they're on the market right now?
Exactly.
Okay.
And it also prevents from fires.
Got it. Okay, what else we got, Tim?
So, you know what?
Okay. She said we don't need to know that one, so we're skipping on down.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Got it, I see, okay.
So here we go. Try to read this, and then we'll go back up. So verification of our tax. Such a down payment verification of closing costs, attachment of offer. These are all things we don't really know. I don't know. Verification of loan application, or maybe, so if they are submitting an all cash offer, are the funds verified? That's what we check, right? Verification of down payment, this would be a part of their pre-approval, or excuse me,
Broker.
pre-approval. So we would, like, these are all things that we would have based on the pre.
And then we go back to this. To go back to this.
I think maybe, yeah, it's not like a end all, but. Okay. Final verification of condition is the request. Here's the biggie right here. 17, right? All of these we're touching, because these are. Remember, we were talking about. Yeah. All these are not met. We can ask for. Give you 2 days. If in the offer is accepted, in the event the offer is accepted and all these contingencies were, signed off on by the seller. And let's say, market like buyer exceeded, like they did the 18th requirements, they ask for something and it can take 2 more days to like deliver.
Oh, yeah.
Or the seller can cancel the offer. Okay, well, that's where these are for. So let's keep going. Time of possession. Notice to perform. There we go, okay, thank you. Nice. Notice to perform. Seller occupied or vacant unit. Occupied unit. This is, I think, if they stay, right? So anyways,
No, that's the one.
yeah, seller delivery of documents more, days. You just don't check anything.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, like a lot of like, you see when she's like, she only gave me enough. Skip all that, this is all the thing, like, go here, like, yes, she did. I'm representing right now. So here we go, like, this is actually part she told me to put, like. If they want, the buyer wants, for example, they want a stove, right? They want a refrigerator, those are standard. Washer, dryer, so remember, pretty standard. And then you don't usually have to put dishwasher and stuff because they're not multiple only with dishwasher in there. Anyway, so those are those, right? Wire. These are. Please. Cost to be split equally. Oh, so typically, don't the buyers, or who pays for all the? Like the natural hazard disclosure reports.
Unless you were. There's, of course, if you receive a counter and then the seller says, because there's multiple offers, and they're requesting for you to pay for it, it's $100, do you really want to combat that?
Oh, no. Right.
Okay.
Well, the.
Sure.
Remember what we said at the very beginning, the worst thing that we could do is assume that we're gonna answer.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, ultimately, we're gonna be like, we're gonna be honest. We have a traffic exit for our hotels,
Can we just paint it for them?
I know. Yeah.
Fine. Okay, so I don't know who gets checked on all these things, so we're gonna leave those blanks. This is we're gonna need to put it on. But you wanna put like a timeline, you know? And I left here to use that.
Examples from another.
All right, more fun.
Something.
So like, Melissa, we should like hours of just. He actually trains me to do this because she's like, I need you to start helping me when she was going crazy and then. Yeah. This one here. The most important beach one. Yeah, but I was gonna,
Yes, but not for.
Yeah, literally, that was the most important thing for each phase.
Yeah, so-
And that's what when I was explaining it to people, I just found out.
I was like, wait a minute.
see what happened. Point out. Yeah, so anyways, we got more. And I think that's. Should be checked whether current tenants are renewed or not. I'm just gonna call. Should be checked. It says whether they will. But these ones I don't know. We're gonna leave that like. Put another thing. Oh, no, the sugar, no, like. It's not. Like,
Oh, what?
The next all these pages is just stuff that they have to explore about.
See?
Well, you have a lot of stuff.
That's why it was like, skip pages, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that was there, like.
This like take all my.
This is just go through. This is what this one means.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I just need some that a buyer like pointed out, it was.
And usually return. I think we already put that on. Remember we said in here, remember we see more.
Also, NC one, because we know she's getting sitting down with them.
So if I'm going to call this 3 days. Then that will not.
That was referring to.
I usually.
Those all really far, and we didn't bring it down.
Oh, they're building, so like, I know disrespectful if I went ahead and I.
Oh, the offer is now for 3 days.
I can take measures, so.
Because there are situations where the client could be out of town, in a different time zone, or not in the
Originating a fire.
they can get some.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I'm already on the board for morning, yeah. Let's get it. Except.
We stay at our.
Or just.
All that are this.
And then you say that early to bring families. Great.
No, as long as you communicated and you.
But this is all filler related, I mean, how do we fill that out?
I
I
mean,
guess
if you
why-
don't, then shame on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
The whole acceptance section. It's not related to this.
If we're the buyer's agent, right, it's not a. Real estate broker section.
Said she's having her baby.
It's not-
No. Yeah, no. Well, actually, technically, it was not listed anyway.
Because it's kind of like already in our.
MLS. Based on that, let's have their information.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do.
We do fill out their info, yeah, but ours aren't really.
But I think like once you put like you like, when you print out this form, you put in the MLS and it's gonna automatically, I think so. Oh, it's not.
Okay, so escrow holder, we don't know what that is, but.
And I just write everything down.
I think fair.
20%. People.
This just says-
Loans, all those numbers.
I think Yeah, like the inspection stuff. I
So we just run that.
That visual. Visual and it's visual.
It's just.
It's just saying the importance of us getting, I think it's an inspection, right? So.
Right, and then for the actions.
Stability of all expensive properties. So.
It's on the buyer.
Yeah, look, so that they have to sign off and that they have to do that, so we find their appraisal act, same, they just sign, date.
Okay, so.
Well, let's see what it actually says, any appraisal.
So usually I have this one.
Mine looks counting stuff, okay.
You should get it upgraded, that's it.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're meant to, you should. California Consumer Privacy Act.
Yeah. Signature, we're not gonna like, get all your information. But it'll make it up. Done.
No problem.
It's bought a house.
Well, we put it on.
We did that.
Wait.
I had hers.
Yeah. The disclosures that you were talking about, were like,
We've already called.
removal of contingency,
And they're
So
comfortable
all we really put down
appraisal.
was, maybe 30 days.
Building
20%.
That's a meat and potatoes, like I told you, what you're asking for with your offer, you know, the price, the deposit or the down payment, like.
Yeah.
Those are,
For the loan.
That was pretty
Yeah,
much
it's 70 days.
Hey, would this, hey, if so. then-
yeah, cause like, you put like provided by seller, new inspection, buyer, seller, each of that's all, if you do like just the meat and potato, yeah. Put in the right address of your brokerage. Yeah, just 5-6.
And minus.
Sorry, he is attractive, like.
Yeah.
You're numbers. And. I'm gonna assume that it's. Dimensional or if check, okay, this is just.
That progression of the loan should be privileged.
Yeah. I was just looking, I thought there was something I wanted to.
It needs to have some. When you check.
Well, a lot of the middle is just the disclosures, like there's nothing to sign off on, so.
That's cool. I don't know why. I mean, do you know what this balance of down payment is? Because if we've already put initial down payment and increased down payment, I guess maybe it would only be used if the bank wasn't going to finance the whole amount. So let's say the bank was doing this amount, then.
You are
the
right.
escrow
With
would
your
be
mother.
an additional amount that you would need.
Well, let's balance it, like, you have to work on there.
I was concerned with the thing they didn't work with, like, long and drawn out. Anyway, Alyssa, every single time, like, she wrote down. Oh, but obviously she's going in writing it based on what she's already discussed with her buyer, you know?
Yes.
But I
Right,
don't,
right,
I don't think I'm gonna be sitting there with them unless they're like older. Hopefully,
You know, couldn't even.
That's only if they.
oh, are you serious? You're so sweet, nobody. That's really nice of you.
Thank you.
Anything.
But just.
Oh.
We need to put every page.
Doesn't start at-
That
right?
the purchase price, we're gonna, we're looking to close escrow in 30 days. We want them to come back to us and.
You're good? I think I'm just gonna get like a little protein back.
This is.
Cause they don't have any like
and
veggies
the
here.
Earnest deposit and the
Yeah.
money deposit to do 20% deposit. And this is the.
Oh, they have her face.
to finance.
They'll get that with this berry tree up our thing.
They're much, and they're not. Perfect.
Yeah, it's it. Okay, try to get into the habit of saying down payment instead of the deposit, because if the earnest money deposit, it might not be so much the.
Okay, down there.
I know, the verbiage is a little funky on there.
Okay.
That's a good comment.
That when you asked earlier, yeah, that's why I said 10%, 20%, 20%, I was thinking of, yeah, the down payment.
And. You didn't say anything about any seller credits. So I guess there isn't anything to read up.
Yeah, they asked the same question, only write something down if it's on MLS that the seller is willing.
Oh, I'm looking at this map, straight up. I'm gonna think I'm gonna get.
We saw this quite a bit last year when the market.
Because it
really
looks like literally all
cheap.
cheese.
Great one.
Protein. You want a protein box?
Those in the notes.
Or do you want? You're fine. You're good. Yeah, like these little triangles. Okay, these don't have cheese, this is the one that is the, oh wait, yeah. This
No,
is,
it's fine. Okay, that would be amazing.
you want that one? Okay, I think money for the same thing. So.
Buyer maybe ask, qualify as the seller.
Yeah, that.
Thank you.
No, we ran out real quick, so we'll circle back. For both of us, we just pulled up by.
Okay. Like, I feel like I'm thinking of this.
Thank you, I'm good, do you want me to?
Just, you know, this, or what? Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, like I think that we get like a breakdown, like even from our mentors of like a synopsis. You know, I'm good at reading every freaking line of this, we'll be with them for 2 hours, we'll be time for that.
Right, right.
We're trying to get the
And
office minutes, you
I'm
know?
sure, I'm sure most people are just like.
That's what we have.
Like, with the-
They're, most people are not gonna wanna go through this, I mean, they're gonna be the analytical people, when we ask for it. I don't know, I'm too, I'm like, I mean, for first time buyers, like, you don't even know every year to get out, I feel like there's gonna be a better way to do this without it being so monotonous, you know? Cause if we do this like line by line, it will just, all of us will end up wanting to just to the end of it, you know what I mean? There has to be a more efficient way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there by any chance like a kind of bullet point document that's breaks down, long extensive paragraphs.
There's so many
Like,
addendums in here, you know. I was gonna tell, when we were saying like, are we truly gonna sit there and read every single line, like, thank you, and I told them, I know that the agent that I was an assistant to didn't do that either.
Yeah.
So what do you do, like, kind of like, go over a few of the things before you actually send it to them to DocuSign? Cause they're gonna have questions, right?
Permission to be completely honest and a little.
Please.
No, it's because you guys haven't gone through any of the conference classes, you guys have admitted to me that you haven't, so you don't even know what's on there. So what I have to do is look at how it goes and file an error. I don't like to read every single thing, but you kind of get the gist of it. It's like if you're,
Yeah.
if you're a surgeon, you're not gonna not know how to perform your duties, right? So you kind of wanna know what's in there. And you don't have to read through the entire thing, but just like every full bullet point, you
Yes.
kind of know what to talk about. So in case you do have questions, you're able to.
That's exactly what he did. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
For us, cheat sheets, right, we'll get offer written, like, offer contract cheat sheets, that's like basically. No, we're gonna have to make these tools for ourselves, I think, I don't think that exists.
Well, I always hear like, everybody around here, don't read the wheel, a lot, like, okay.
Yeah, but I don't think they have a summary of the contract, they probably have.
I guess we-
I'm all about creating something that I resonate with, you know, like,
Sure,
that I like, understand.
it would be helpful to
Up
me
to
also,
you.
like, not because I would have to create it, because then I would be more likely to understand it or.
Yeah, we can.
Oh,
Then
one
I would
sentence,
actually
explaining what
specify that
this
there
means.
for,
Okay, cool.
the appraisal has to come through for at least that. And then,
Like I said, I don't think a lot of
It
people
also
go
puts a
through it all like that, but they want to know.
Next meeting and all, we'll discuss.
Oh, Jen, she's ordering, that's the thing that you have in Starbucks, if you want to.
Oh,
We both
no,
got like a
no,
little
no,
working.
no. It does go. without you.
right,
So that.
Yes.
okay.
By the way, here's a very interesting question, you guys are ready for us, but do you know what to submit in offer? Other than just a contract?
You just showed us.
Yeah. They're proof of funds. And, the loan, like, creator, no creator letter.
Some listing agents are a little bit more on the old school side and they'll actually ask for proof of like silence as well. I don't see that very often anymore, but if they do ask for it, it will be in MLS.
So when they see, so you don't have to do the cross moving. Which is.
If they write that in there, sometimes it's just a formality. For example, let's say that the listing agent received 3 offers. All 3 of them were like 5% down payments. On a $3 million house, 5% is really sketchy, right? It's not like this promise of offers. So if that's the case, you definitely want to say, hey, I would really advise you talking to my preferred lender. A, you may be able to get you a better rate, and B, we just want to make sure that it's strong enough and they're not going to back up. Not just trying to.
Right. And a fully executed offer package is just this. That has been fully gone through and signed. Okay.
So the fully executed term means that both the buyers and the sellers, sign. That's what makes it fully executed to be able to open a business.
Right.
Unless it's fully executed, technically you're not supposed to open a business. Good question.
It's interesting because in the instructions, that there was a copy as order. Accidentally.
We're getting it.
So there's 7 on here total.
I will order it.
It was just to get, my team.
If I'm-
There should only be.
Did anyone else order?
Like 2 feet tranquilities.
Why?
Okay.
With water, my drink on that cut time.
No, I have butter. I'm just worried it won't offer you then. I just drink my Thai.
That's it.
They try to be lovely.
And if you.
Tai Chi.
No, I'm on Thai. She tried. Try
They tell you, oh. Still looking and. Sort of like how to do a little bit. And then, you know, you say, well, you're sort of, you know.
Today, representing.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's like a senior, right? You tell them you have 4 other languages.
Little rotating box. You each one?
But I usually.
Does it say 2 like that?
Take a look at.
They go to their protein box?
Yeah.
Just.
Listen, we do not recall. If you all look up, sort of line in the.
Yeah, there's
Right,
right
now,
now.
we like-
I'm like, what are you chicken.
That's what she got for. It's the first one, probably didn't give her what's on it. So kind of like, what my contract is I let my buyers know, kind of like purchasing the car, you know, like the.
For the first one.
So in that case, that's, it's not that she's running her credit with this, but your business.
It's a meat, yeah.
Just explain this, says please submit for all offers. Packaging to improve.
Right.
Verification and down payments. But then it says, and.
It helps, you know, I'm not gonna lie, it really truly, I feel like I'm definitely like a blessing.
That's just the.
Like the second I got eyes and she was like, what? I'm like, wait. I'm still doing a job.
So it's spirit policy.
What?
This is the Christmas gift, it's $5.
If I'm sure, yeah.
I used to get. You want to keep it in package? Why not?
Okay, give it a way to put your, that's where you get a referral. Send them over.
Or you just have to buy their coffee when we, right, and that's.
I don't think it. Well, I need it for copies. Yeah.
Or you taking Chris Summer or something. Okay, so. Need to know,
What did you say?
there is potential fire pit and jacuzzi.
Group of funds
That could be included in the sale. Would you like us to?
for the down payment. So if they're putting 30% down payment, make sure that there's at least 30%.
Have you
Okay.
any considerations? for
Um,
what you'd like to?
In what form is proof of funds? It's like.
Okay.
But I did not know this much. Okay. Wait, all right. Okay, all right.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's all cash,
So that's part of it.
make sure that bank account or the bank account, so adding up to the. I just think that you're not serious. Good question. So the contract, proof of funds,
Yeah.
and proof of.
Okay.
I was telling them every once in a while, let's make them order file for the file. But you're not speaking, they're pre-approved.
We've already.
Okay, right, yeah.
Stove, the refrigerator, the wine hurts are cool. The dryer. The washer and microwave are all included.
The movie lover is like.
You already. With this kind of layer, I'm assuming that a lot of this stuff other than. I'm living. It's like saying for a year and you're receiving all that.
$50.
So Gmail is.
They're like, oh, you gotta, you know, to keep your, so I'm going through. Literally, I'm in 16 emails right now. Just so I don't have to pay every month. Screw you, Gino, I'm not writing. Yeah. I have to. They're such weenies. Gee, go for it. Here though. 15 mega or gigabytes or something? Yeah, they're trying
No,
to.
did you come to-
And full, look at, like people wanted to get used.
For which one?
I told her, I have like Yahoo, an old email that it's like, it predated my current Gmail, my personal Gmail. And that thing is gone like a trooper, I have to get off. Hundreds of emails in it. And it's still going, so what, I
Are you
mean.
sure? Wait.
We'll drive, I have pictures, I think it counted for all of it.
Okay, yeah. Well, then maybe email.
Like a, is that seller? Cause if that was pretty happen, then I would be just out your authority or my stuff. Yeah, I need to figure out how to extract them, like, I don't know how to do that.
They just open it and then you just.
My Google Photos and I don't know, like the folder on my laptop.
Yeah, create a folder like on your desktop.
I have to. It's not a thing. I mean, I like look at the right here. So it's not a down paragraph. And I got emails that and we don't have. Our.
Everybody have
Like,
one, too, I don't know.
according to my computer, I've only got 3 emails today, but according to this, I've got like 10.
Yeah, there's like 5 gigabytes.
No, it's the same, it's the same regards to them. I only have 1 GB. That's yeah, like, no, and I already.
Oh, like,
Not
folder and everything.
understand, because even like. So. It's like, you know, the online training schedule for today.
Necessary to navigate that further. We have 17 days to sign off on the information that will provide us. In addition to.
But other emails are the same?
What's that?
Some of them are the same?
Inspection.
Yes, the daily digest.
Like, what's the very top?
And then, yeah, and then initial on the bottom.
Okay, we're done.
It's not.
What is on here? This
So Roku over directory.
That's what's,
this is not, yeah, or something?
And then,
and
the new product one. Then,
Oh, it's not. Yeah, I think we're not margins. Cause you can get, yeah, I have. I know how to do that. Right, yeah, yeah, so. It separates. And what I did, because I think this is ridiculous, I deleted these, it's kind of all go into your main one folder.
oh, so you just delete these two.
You don't like delete them, but like, there's some way to understand the like merge all of them together. 'Cause I think, yeah, I have this. I don't know.
It's one of my.
Smart, I don't know. YouTube, like, really smart.
Oh, YouTube University.
How to merge from.
Thing.
Who you were today?
Like, having an actual meeting.
Honestly,
and we'll.
I think I'm gonna do them like start off, but then, I need more practice.
This is, when we actually know already what their offer is going to be. But this is just, or no.
Why don't you just? When you're broken, the best thing that you can do is make a mistake in front of each other, so you can. When you're actually with a real client, you're not gonna have the opportunity to think back when you're ready, that's wrong, right? So, yes, so. Go ahead.
Is that actually?
Why do you want to play minor and the other one play?
I just wasn't sure.
Sure, yeah. We haven't talked about pricing or anything yet. But like,
You're looking at the house.
No,
But she can tell you, look at my conference, so like all the other people have this time, so you guys are actually meeting now.
Oh, you be the agent. Contract. So 2201 Ripley Avenue, that's the one, Tim. I want it. Do it. That's the one we're gonna make an offer on. It's clients.
Yeah, usually before you have some of that long run, you wanna make sure that they have all this. Stuff like that. You make sure that they already have approval, so discuss what they're both gonna package.
Yeah, we should know.
That's what they're not, you will be to them out of finding out what it's gonna take. Or better yet, if that happens, be like, this, I could be proactively calling you, find out what it is. That it's out there for. So let's go ahead and make this happen.
So I just told you that I wanna make an offer on this property, and so now what do you tell me? Don't even look. At the contract. What are some of the things that we can repeat that she just said? All right, cool, then I'm gonna reach out to whatever, let's
Title insurance.
you got this.
Oh,
You do. I don't. Okay, so if we're kind of, I want to, right? I'm okay. Okay, awesome, I definitely, no, we're gonna pretend we were so, cheated, because we're on, right? Awesome, I already reached out to see, like what was down, see, like how many topics are submitted, and they haven't had one on there, which is a good one. So we need to discuss what you guys are comfortable
So this
putting
is.
it on for. That we have $300,000, for the deposit, but if we open the offer list, then, what if they actually want something a little bit more?
Yeah.
Not good, there's so much more. Your brain like.
No, this-
I would maybe say, so we don't have any issues, do I need, is there any? You wanna call it attention, because that would probably go on the.
I was ready to. Right? Okay. Home warranty plan, okay, so. Let's keep it on.
Very detailed form, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been a block, a roadblock right now, so we talked about what they'll be putting an offer in at, we pretended like there are no offers that exist yet, that the agent already, did his due diligence and contacted the listing agent, and there's no offers, so technically they can come in at list. Or do you wanna take, an additional, you have a significant down payment, sir? But because you're looking at any offers, are you comfortable putting it at listing, or do you wanna be a little bit competitive and, go a little bit? What are we comfortable with?
Since we know.
What is the list?
I guess we didn't say what the listing agent said, yeah.
So let's see, you do that song. Yeah, what did that mean?
Go like your highest at your comfortable with an offer, I'll be good with that. Yeah.
So just have to buy what you comfortable, right?
With the knowledge that's there on this. Maybe a little bit below asking.
Are you the agent?
No.
Yeah.
Fire. We heard this.
So you wanna go below us?
Yeah, and see if they don't want to. Not to very least, not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we have a pretty good leg to stand on because,
And
you
then-
know, again, there are groups. And,
So like in all of these.
you know, I will full disclosure, that, you know, we even did say to put our best foot around there. That typically means the most of what you're willing to, you know, put out. You are pre-approved for listing amounts, so, but I get it, you know, on let's say, on the market for 280 days, so.
I know.
Be a perfect role, right? Cameron, 90 days. Okay. Okay, well, what do you wanna bring it down to, like another 10? Yeah, that's right, I wouldn't be asking you about.
No, you might. I'm sure you will.
Give me your opinion too. So, yeah, if it were me, I would probably come down. Any sign? 50.
Only you can ask the question. Let me go there.
Okay. That's still too high?
It's been 30 days, there's no offer.
Okay. Well,
We're talking 3 months.
yeah.
$50,000, not much.
So how much do you have, how much do you have for the phone?
There's some really good information in here that's.
We did more like 80,000.
Solar panels and different things.
Yeah, I mean, you can always negotiate.
So they did.
No.
Let's just go with the, let's do 75.
I'll give you.
Yeah.
5,000.
Like 3.12, it might, 3.1, I can make it.
Maybe.
See, I think to avoid this, because we're not negotiating with a lot, like, right, we just wanna be at the end of the day, right? We wanna have the knowledge and the, like, you know. What's the word? We want our confidence to say, this is what we think you should do. They're looking to us. We're not looking to negotiate with them, we're looking to negotiate with the listing agent, right? So I get what we're doing right now, but I don't think that's for a reality. I think what we need to do is be more assertive than, this is where I think we can come in at. Because technically, if they want to go ahead and counter offer, they can, and you know, maybe bring it up to at least the listing.
Yeah.
So.
No, it definitely gives you like. Yeah, I mean, it's still up
This is
to
an important
the
page
buyer to
Because.
do it.
Yeah, but
Yeah, exactly. So like, I think, you know, you should go in and get 2.5, if that's what you wanna go and lower. So do you feel comfortable doing that? Where's your? 3.15, sorry.
That's your.
Your loan,
During this, being in between some markets, you're requirements, something like that. Okay, let's go with 3.15.
Or.
And we did see the boxes that were discussing counter offer for the seller portion.
So this is.
Can we,
Read to that.
is there something that we can check that requires a counter offer?
And if there are any.
Or no? Okay, they haven't required.
You're almost out of my years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fighting the mentor,
You don't
like.
wanna say, okay, I know it's a little.
There's so many factors. So because our buyer wants to come in under. Since there haven't been any offers and they're, it's been on the market. for
That's
80
why
days.
it's very clear, contact the listing agent and just be like, here, here's the situation. My buyer is looking to come in at this way, it's just, you know, we ran our costs.
So-
It's pretty ridiculous.
So the
We're-
hearing-
There we go, that's another.
Well,
So seller, so buyer, the comps do justify the listing price, which is by reaching out to the listing agent, they did say. To present our best offer typically means the most you're willing to go. Personally, I think we should come in at list, but
This.
the ball is in your court.
Thing that I filled this out.
Yeah, most of that is for the listing agent.
So again, of course,
you may have stuff.
but when what do you mean when you have the comp do justify the listing price, right? Like,
I guess what I really do. I'm just also thinking, literally, it's not our.
It's all like one.
That's
just so pivot, what if you're listing price and our buyer wants to still, like, under.
Review of what
Okay.
So ask the buyer, how important is it not for you to get rejected for
Why, what the price of them?
The fact that the husband and office is still.
I said 90.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or even more, even more.
Twitter video was just ridiculous.
Oh, okay. Too high, like, even if it's offer and I'm really like, great, but supply and demand is the demand out there. I would think.
But you still want to kind of set the proper expectations. And what does it look like to you in celebrating with your offer? Because make it fun.
Right, there's been no other option.
But that's why I was trying to reel them in and say it's up to us to like be the market expert. It's up to us to provide the like insight as to how it will, oh my god, it's done. Delivery. Thank you.
So,
I thought I told her, I was literally going to.
No one's ever done this. We're gonna remember you. From now on, we're gonna tell everyone.
We got.
So that's. I right? Literally been staying there for like 20 days.
Do you have an Instagram? Okay. You have to put your info, that's what everybody's preferred, so I'm just kidding.
Thank you very much for the credit. We all do. Okay, you know what your expertise?
This is better than 100 pounds, pretty much. Did you see your art? Did you hear what you saying? I'm really explaining everything.
and so I.
Yeah, that's really good peanut butter too.
And the little friends that comes with is actually really easy.
Yeah, it's all hard.
We're gonna go for one more, but this time we're gonna.
It's fruit.
Yeah, back in the day, I used to do like the cheese in the front, but it was. I had a lot of cheese, I'm not lactose, but like, I'm happy how to stay within a certain. I know we love it. But even now, like, I'm like, just too much. Thank you, I can give it to me. I will make a charcuterie board. Okay, so you did want to come in on this based on my expertise and knowledge. Value, perspective, like how it's gonna look, when it comes, yeah, I know, like, I realize where you're coming from. But, also based on the comments, it is justified, if we come in at least at what they're asking, I think that we'll have stronger leg to stand on when it comes to getting it. Is that good? People over here like this is the flea market. It's also an emotional transaction. I was very good. Lawyers that have been sitting for 50 years, if they don't get an offer that's even less. Like.
Well, we're pretty good. Yeah.
I was trying to buy it, but I was on some other things. I was like, I just looked like around the corner, so I was like. Kind of important.
I live in work now.
I live in front of you, but over. So I kind of did, answer the door. But I saw it and I was like, oh, so I'm gonna be able to follow, like somebody else I was doing. I got thought of doing something else and it was already. I wanted to come, but I was like. We can just go on the, who wants this? Yeah.
Oh my God, not the bacon.
I was gonna say, the name movies.
Yeah, it's when you come to fall.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna get someone else. We told you. We'll be back in like 5 minutes and then we're gonna go over how to actually get into the contract.
Okay, got it.
I could do apple and peanut butter. Nice.
Yeah. I thought I did.
That's what I was getting.
Classic. Like one of these things.
I usually don't eat the egg though, because sometimes my egg gets on foggy.
I like
Just,
to figure
okay,
it out.
it's like time. I was wondering if there was something in here that would make it, so.
Smell oranges.
Hold on, those tangerines.
Smells good.
Compliments of you. So,
Oh, is that part of it?
it was, yeah, it was the
Oh,
Usually they put grapes. Right.
I brought in some banana muffins.
No, no, no.
Yeah, there were grapes in the photo, that's right.
Usually grapes.
Oh, well.
How are we liking this class so far?
It's excellent. Yeah.
I like the different, having different agents come in and teach class, then we get experiences, hear the different experiences from different agents and stuff.
Yeah.
And like that, because we can read this stuff, but actually hear it, like, I'm giving us that information that is so valuable to me. And everybody's different. It's great.
So. When we write the offer, we always go to CAR.org, right?
As long as you guys pay your dues of the board, then you'll have access to this.
Okay.
I can't get in though.
Card.org.
She was saying that they saying they can't find her.
Oh, no, it's my Chris, they started putting my rock, that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you might have to register for the first time. Did you have to type in your NRS ID or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. No.
If you call the board, they should be able to give it to you also.
Yeah, they will.
So once I do that, I'm in, it says hi Pamela. So then I go to the transaction center. And
I don't have to pay
then
my
go
lunch.
to the transaction.
I haven't said that we go.
My lunch.
Do that, we start putting the name on the non-hyphenated.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Oh,
Okay. I mean, this is what standard for. What do I call it? That.
You understand the form.
No, the bill.
Remember that thing, you know, coming down to that on the two, now they. Pretty dumb tree.
I'm gonna go to the search and see what happens.
So it's actually, that's the word that's not being heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just saw what my area number. I have it already. I know my insurance license number, they're on.
Funny, when I first started getting emails about them turning in England, there was so many emails and I had no idea what they related to. I just kind of left everything in there. Yeah, didn't think of this. If it's not your DRE number, there's an actual other number that they provide.
okay, so we've all seen the car.org. I think it should have been in your orientation class. This is how you get access to all your transactions. So you guys have been through here so far?
No,
Okay, so let's start from the very beginning. When you go to the CAR.org website,
Mhm.
this is the homepage. Just click on the active secure transactions.
Mhm.
Click on the transaction site. Gonna ask you for your username and password. If you haven't done this before, you're gonna have to register for the first time. It's gonna ask you for your DOE or your NRS ID.
If it says like sign in or log.
I mean, I want to sign in, so,
Okay,
so just continue to
Yeah.
transactions.
so go hit the yellow button to continue. So you'll see all your transactions that you've done. But what you want to do is just hit on new form when you're ready to write a new offer. Hit new. It's gonna ask you if it's a new listing, purchase, or new leads, et cetera, et cetera. Just go ahead and hit new purchase offer. Type in the client's name, type in the address. Good to hear.
Wow, I'm so sorry. I'm on like, I'm signed in, but I'm on the home page. It didn't look the same as you.
Oh, you gotta close that out. That's it. Weird tab. Okay, there you go. So now click on the access secure transactions.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay,
Transactions.
cool, thank you.
Now hit the yellow button.
Same right.
Mine came
I don't
up.
think I've gotten.
I have to register, I register. Oh,
Did you get your?
I can help you with that.
I have to call her today.
So. I did not have a chance to call it today, because I wanted to be home in front of my laptop when we do it. Oh, yeah. And it was not, so today I right when I on.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, I can't log into that yet. I'll try. What page do you want then? What is yours look like?
You're trying to like
Oh.
make notes. After when I'm here.
Yeah,
you
continue
know.
that one.
Yeah. I will, I just want to try and know how to get through.
Yeah,
And then
this is what came up for me. Am I in the right place?
Oh, definitely don't sign up. Can you exit them? Because I'm asking you if you want.
I don't want to show.
Oh, wait, no,
Yeah.
no. You have to increase the license. So this is the first time, right?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't. Then I haven't.
With exit order.
He's good. This fall, and then he was in court. And so I didn't, you know, challenge her. He's able to sit still. Because I mean, you guys were.
I just updated my information, and I was in.
Yeah, you made me. You know, I guess see.
Monday, I think this last one.
Really?
Wait.
Almost. Sections. On the left.
So
Yeah.
that, this is what.
I got my number.
Oh, you found the ad,
It was my back, my last name, and you know, where. Continue to register.
Yep.
I would type it in. Sorry.
And then it brings me to.
Exit, exit, exit.
Just exit.
Skip. There you go. So when you're typing, when you're writing an offer, you always want to fulfill all this information, but for the sake of time, let's go ahead and just go through one of the offers that I wrote in. So once you get past,
No, that's yours. We don't have that on ours.
it's exactly the same. I just went through one of my existing.
Right.
Yes. So once you get there, go to documents at the top. I have no idea how to move this. There we go.
But wait.
Oh, sorry. So you have to hit the new, where it says new right there. Can I ask you if it's going to be purchased? Go ahead, purchase offer. Type in all the client's information and the address.
I'm right, she told me you always have to,
It's like you lose information.
you have to always hit new, right?
Yeah.
So.
Just put example client.
Oh, yeah, click off that. Take it out of that.
Get out of this.
Yeah.
whole
take
thing.
it out of it. Then I can go back to the Sierra site, so go to the top left versus California, yeah, click on that.
Oh, we'll figure it out.
Nothing, yeah, and then
Boom.
boom. And then. Just some of the, piece that out. Something like that. And then,
So redirects now.
wait, hold on. And then I'm gonna show you something funky. No, it's out of that. Skip,
So much extra stuff.
no, you're good.
Okay, thank you.
And then it says new. At the left. It says taxable and then new. Yeah, there you go.
Alright, that's,
Yeah, there we go.
Cool.
Type in your client's information. Is it gonna be residential? Is it gonna be condo? And of course, it's active, right? So you wanna click on save. Once you get past that, now you're gonna click on the documents. Obviously, there's gonna be none, so you wanna keep adding forms. So they actually make it easier for you. They put the dot right in front of it because these are probably gonna be the 3 most used templates, right? So obviously, if it's a listing agreement, you'll see a listing agreement. If it's a purchase agreement, there you go. What I usually do, just to make my life so much easier, I click on the cover sheet first, and then I click on residential purchase agreement. And of course, if I'm representing a seller, I'll click on cover sheet first, then click on listing agreement. So for the sake of time, we'll go ahead and click on cover sheet. Don't know why I asked this every single time. Type in the buyer's information. If there's a husband and wife, or if there's multiple buyers, go ahead and type in all their information. And then always click on these right here, because it'll automatically default. So any new transaction that you add on, any new transaction meaning like the PDS, SPQ, the AVID, any and all disclosures that you want to add on during escrow, it won't ask you to type in all the client's information, and it won't auto.
Oh, nice.
Make your life so much easier.
Wait, from the cover sheet information you provide?
Correct,
There we go, that's what we want.
okay?
I know.
And here's the other piece that will absolutely save your life once you go back. Hit this, you see where this MLS Connect is?
Wait, how'd you get there?
Sorry.
Okay.
So you're back. See,
When you're done, so close out of that, close out of that.
oh, you went to documents, well, that's if you had them,
assuming that you're gonna write an offer, right?
correct,
Okay,
okay.
so go to the MLS Connect.
Was there, can you lower that window and go to the other window or no?
Must just,
I don't see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go out of there.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
Go ahead and exit. No, not that.
So.
Exit.
Yeah.
Oh, there, oh, she's up in there.
Yes, back.
There's no.
Okay. So now you see where it says MLS Connect at the top left. We all have our examples.
I found it.
So we all have our examples. I'm gonna type in the MLS ID.
Do you need to have like this template thing?
Yeah.
Like you need to fill this stuff out first before you get to.
Correct.
So
So,
it's connecting this transaction form with the MLS. Okay, and, okay, I got you. So are we using the one you gave us already?
correct.
Okay,
So for the purchase name, I would just put example 1 and you can go ahead and delete it after.
so I put the MLS ID number.
Not a member of the car.
Not.
I don't know why. Patients.
And then your email, or maybe you can have this on here.
He's not.
Oh, that's right. You got it.
Remember,
So it is that form record next,
use listing. But that didn't go.
Yeah.
It won't,
I think
Uh,
that's.
it won't save it.
Click on use listed.
It won't take it, maybe I believe it's something, now. All I put was the MLS number.
Yeah, all it is, put the MLS number 2 and it's not doing anything.
So what if I?
Go find. And then it comes up with the.
And then it comes up,
Yeah,
then.
you
I
can
can- I got you. I got you.
Okay, I
Could not load data for this.
Is the SB number correct?
I don't have it yet, so that's why I'm.
SP 2301 1523 is that time.
And I hit 5 minutes still.
Double check your number, Jennifer.
I did, ma'am.
You guys have CRMLS, right? You don't have clock.
Oh, it's because I did the SB in lowercase.
I guess it's the sensitive then,
I guess it's basically.
okay. Good to know.
Now I got it.
So even though it's pulled the property address, you have to still give it a name, so you just.
Your
type in the property address.
really important that.
Yeah, a lot of it is redundant.
Okay, no problem, no problem. We got this.
We all found the property?
Yes.
Okay, you want to import the, yes, always hit yes, makes your life that much easier. Once it imports the MLS, and you go ahead and hit on the residential purchase agreement. And you will see how much easier your life has gotten, because all that was already.
See how it looks, Tim, yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
All of everything highlighted, it's a little bit different when you look at it on.
Yeah,
So after I hit do the property address, I do MLS connected here.
Is it Mary?
We're not gonna start over.
you have to have the FB number. Actually, right.
In the second time, right?
Nothing was, well, you, I only did the user name using, so what's the address? No, it's at the top of every page, it should be the address.
And then I hit.
This will, hit this number, right? Okay, so then I can register.
You already put it down.
Yeah, they should,
Give me the energy as number, or no?
No, it's not. Okay.
so give it the issue and it's
I wanna make sure that number is, that it's registering for CAR and. Yeah.
Right, it's the same, yeah,
Yeah.
you register for like both of them. It's kind of-
Where's
Now
the
they
MLS?
Who's in Marine? So. Marine. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The forms are open up, I don't know how.
Did you go to the MLS Connect? Yeah, go to that. No, under the listing ID. With the capital SB.
Okay. Now.
Documents and then add it.
And click include the pictures. And then find,
So much, okay.
You want to add the two forms that we just discussed, which is the coverage.
now import.
And
Yes,
then the purchase agreement, which is the third one down. And make it easy because I put a document on it.
Right here.
Procedure.
and then. Did you know?
And I can go back to the, like. No, yeah.
Well, did you go to the farm?
Good to go.
No, I haven't looked at them.
Oh, because we did that step before where we added like cover letter, cover sheet and the residential property agreement. So,
Where you got.
Am I seriously going?
So we just added it one. Well, you already.
so,
So that.
click on the,
It's gonna be a new purchase.
start over again. Or, look at the form.
Just.
For the sake of argument, you could.
Well,
already
the-
put in
the,
the example
back-
line.
back to
Oh.
the-
Already have.
Hit new. Yeah, hit new.
Well, that'll make a new one, then, right? Like,
You know, you gotta stay on all this.
yes,
There you go.
I already know this though.
Well, okay, no, well then click off that, exit out of this, and
SB.
click on your sample.
This B,
All caps.
okay,
To the right, it says all
2301.
ones.
And let me-
To the right, it says all ones.
Yeah.
Not click on cover sheet.
All right,
And residential pursuits, agreement. Yeah, click on that one.
Use listing at the bottom.
I think something
happened.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah, it's not you, it's my.
it's not you, it's me.
There it is, oh no.
So it's all good. Yeah, because you should be able to add those ones. And then when you look up,
I think it's a one.
so
The
try
Wi-Fi.
try to add those ones.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi didn't come on.
Wi-Fi just died. Yeah, Wi-Fi's done.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's over. I want everybody, it's not user error.
Okay, so we'll just
Not
continue, we're
neat.
not gonna be able to add on, go through it one by one, but just so you guys know, this is how easy it is.
Yeah.
Anything that's kind of highlighted in this color, you have to figure it out if you're gonna, is there one buyer or two buyers?
No, I was told, like, what if there is 3 buyers and there's only the 2 spots there?
That's when you need an addendum to add as many more.
I got it, okay.
Advise your buyers though, that on the tax records, there's only gonna be 2 names on there, because you can only fit 2 for the grantees. But there'll be an overflow, like if they actually look at, if they pull the actual a copy of the grantee, there'll be more buyers.
Okay. See, these are all.
When you're writing an offer,
We got.
Oh,
food for thought here, sometimes it's under a trust, so you don't wanna just assume that you have the seller's name, especially if you're representing a buyer. So it's always good practice to contact the listing agent and find out whose name to put it under. Most of the time, if it's like under a trust or if it's like a probate sale or something like that, just leave it blank. Escrow can fix it afterwards. Okay. So you see how everything is kind of highlighted this color, the X? When you're sending it off for DocuSign, for the buyers to sign it, it'll auto populate because you already proactively checked that box. Make sense?
Yes.
You see how, because you pulled up the MLF, it already pulled up the agent,
yeah,
you know, you did all work.
yeah.
Typed in the address already. The date here, it'll always populate on every other page. Okay, I don't know why it's not including my. But, sorry, there's gonna be some glitches like every
Yeah, 'cause
single
it's
time.
weird, cause it like, it auto like, put in like the seller coverage.
Yeah.
But it didn't automatically put in like my name.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's a little glitchy like that for me too, so you just have to, that's what she was saying, you have to go through it every single time. So type in the dollar amount. Most of the time it'll auto populate, so if you want the deposit to be a certain dollar value. Remember, get into the best practice when you're gonna go over it, so you look like the professional, write it down on the notepad, like what 80% of the loan value will look like and stuff like that, so you don't have to bust out your phone. Really think I have a calculator and write out what you mean. Now, a lot of times this will be done when your customer, when your client's not present. Right, so if that's the case, then that's fine, but when you're in front of them, having this conversation with them, try to be as prepared as possible. In fact, like I was saying, I actually highlight everything for them to sign, just make it as easy and seamless as possible for them. Okay. Ask them what it is that they want to request inside the house, if they want to have like, you know, all the appliances and any additional fridges and stuff like that, that may have, try to have that conversation before. Write that down. Okay, this is how a contract looks. How do you guys feel?
Better than I did before.
Yeah.
I like the online version better than doing it.
That's what I was trying to tell them, I'm like, it doesn't look so left, Carrie, when you look at it like there, than this.
You know why we had to do it like written out the first time though? Because believe it or not, you're gonna have many of those. You're gonna have those old school clients that just like to have paper in their hand all the time.
Yeah.
One of the best practices that I like to have though is don't sit across from them, sit next to them, so you can actually go through page by page.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but it's kind of hard for me to read upside down, so when you're trying to explain certain things, you're like.
We learned that today.
You need to lay.
I was on guys for like 20 years and I'm so used to reading upside down. Really?
Okay, are we feeling with this?
Good.
Good.
Cool. We ready to go over one more example that will just take like maybe 15 minutes on?
Could we go through everything? Oh, yeah, okay.
So I'm gonna tell you exactly, just to make it easy, like what the terms are, like the contract terms, and stuff like that, the loan amount. So let's do it one more time.
Consistent. Let's do that.
Switch roles if you can.
So now we have. A lot of paperwork going on over here.
Yeah, this is.
Let's switch.
Sorry.
Let's switch things.
Make it be.
That's yours? I'll switch. It's over now.
I was like, no,
It's here?
yeah.
It's all about it. So
Are we going?
Tim's office had a cellar.
Are we even know where?
I was gonna say, one from home.
There's still a lot on.
I think
Oh, to the next.
Yeah. That's fine.
Everyone's like, who's Catherine Jones?
She's not close, she's only on there.
The show your team with Peter, that's because Pastor Grant could do that.
She goes like, yeah.
I was just gonna say, just on Casey right there.
Okay, so for this house, it's been on the market for 56 days. They're not enough for it, they're not close, so what is it you want?
They're overpriced.
Or,
That was Tim, 56 days.
I'm gonna do it
open house in friend's house.
okay, so what do you think? There-
I'm saying, I'm trying to say, it's a great location and a nice point of view, and so it's just, I don't know what the answer to your question is.
It's the question is.
Why
does
the-
the buyer?
Okay.
No, it goes to the buyer, okay?
Yeah.
So. You can leave the price open-ended, I'm not even gonna check, it doesn't really matter about the price, I'm listening for how your guys' school play would go. Wanna know how the conversations are gonna go, setting the expectations, like, what is it gonna look like if you get a counter, what is it gonna look like if you get rejected because it's offered to grow? 30-day escrow, we'll do the same, 20% down payment. Okay.
Figure out the,
So this is the same thing that we had before, it's just
Different house.
different house.
that was the
Right.
first time. Yeah.
What be the buyer? You want to be the agent?
You guys are sitting beside each other.
We're not doing a contract, or are we doing?
Yeah, we are doing a contract again.
Oh, we're already looking at We're doing.
The role play experience.
So you're gonna be the same?
Hell no. I do know.
We're still- Yeah, I switched to the being agent, so now. What? Oh, earlier it was, I was supposed to be the buyer, right? So are you? I think you switched to Excel. Last time, did
I'll
you?
give it a-
I switched to the email. Yeah. We're not.
Yeah.
So now we're the buyers.
This candy cane lane, the one thing to be. That the one point, there's an expectation.
Program change.
To big lights. Could they get thousands and thousands of people driving through that neighborhood?
I guess like, who are we gonna pretend we know the comps? You wanna get out?
No, I don't want to go through the price.
Should you say the comps and then like, are they going smaller?
You can usually, in this case, you can run the comp, but usually the numbers go out with the days on market. I don't
Okay.
do it.
That's why I think we're changing offer here. Right, okay, like. All right, so we wanna go in on this, Ellen. Yes, so, and obviously, I mean,
Price change.
what do you think? We kind of wanna underbid.
Okay, so.
I still want to.
For just 2 months, it has. It doesn't have any, serious offers yet, or anything like that, and.
I don't think they.
Was it, I mean, how it's the offers in August?
I can also say, yeah. No, that was.
Curious.
I absolutely. Sweet story about any faces.
Well, we did love you. So we were meeting, yeah.
Very smooth. Very.
We've been to take my. I like it, I even know these things. I would watch multiple fireworks.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, it really is.
I will, okay, we're.
Come on. Yeah, it is.
No, this is where the expert comes out, you're supposed to be like, this is where you should, so, if you want to underbid, we read something else, not underbid, now go to all that. Underbid. What about 1.4? What do you think if we come in?
Yes, why not 1.4?
I mean, is it worth a shot?
It's worth a shot. Oh, around the area, 1.4. It's just a specific location. You really does. So, I'm gonna be wise.
What are you thinking?
What else should I add?
I thought they were gonna have.
I'm going like 1.4 bucks. Yeah.
Um,
They go with the offer anyway, so what else?
If I'm not any offers, yeah, so.
Yes, offer to.
the hope is not around. Sellers. Because, it's hard.
Let's do that.
Let's say. So they're already doing- Say, but they don't see their house. They need to sell the house before they, buy a new home or anything like that, so they're not. They're gonna pay to sell this week, but it is.
Yeah, but it's all, is it's all city?
Yes.
It is, correct. It is, yeah. it is.
And I don't see that.
Honestly, much, they really, upgrades, like the glory, the lighter.
Yeah, we have.
We have our next meeting, There's more, the intention, yeah. Significant homes.
It does have an employees. Remember.
We don't know.
So.
Okay.
We have something.
If you're
It is blowing up, there is that, what do they
I have like, I have to write these feelings for Alyssa, I wrote them for her. And I have to be like, I'm talking about, I got to go up, right, with the walk in. I talk about the kitchen and what's in it, I talk about the bedroom, I mean, like, if they're significant, I'll see them later. I look at the bathroom, like, I don't really, I can't tell from her description, well, I'm asking you, what is that?
So.
Talked about the view a lot, which is great.
Yeah.
Really proud of
All
you.
of them updated kitchen, what's updated? Like, things all the way back.
But no, I want to, I want to.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
It is, no.
Okay, so it would need to be renovated for. Yeah. Pictures. There's a, like the back. Balcony and backyard?
Yeah, that's the back. The back door.
Sean, I tell you, my.
You can landscape that out, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but you wouldn't be able to utilize that space regardless, you're saying.
So the balcony is not.
Right.
Okay.
Like the next door has. They use that down low, so it'll be all that. Yeah.
These are not
I know.
professionally done, so I'm gonna,
Not at all.
I just want to point out a few things, like with this whole thing personally. The pictures aren't professional
Yeah.
at all, the description
That's-
is not very intricate.
That's true. That's true too.
There's a lot, I've been thinking like all the things I've had to write. Yeah. This is an iPhone picture for sure.
Also, yeah.
You trust it?
There's something to demonstrate. Probably too big.
Yeah.
That shows it.
Right. So it's like saying like, they should think, I don't mind if I do that, like, put some these data set or something, you know? Yeah, these are, right, if it's baking, get rid of everything and then, right, you know? It's like, what it isn't like, they make, you know, it's an item, maybe the roof. And that's straight. All right, you're looking at 1.1. You're coming in at 1.1. Like, what do you think about it? Yeah, okay. Let's. Yeah, obviously.
Do that. Let's do that and see.
Does it talk about? It doesn't show, it doesn't show it. Oh, the backyard. Some is in the. It's one of my parents getting. It's all in the.
Yeah, it's like a large balcony. It's like that.
Okay.
Like,
So it's there.
Because I saw the fencing, the metal rod fencing.
Yeah.
So that is like a deep patio.
Yeah.
But then you're saying there's a slope underneath that, but you can't really do anything
Correct.
with it.
But I think you can build it on it.
Yeah. I wonder if we can throw an AD back there. Sloping it. No, it's not enough.
It doesn't really have the backyard.
Not using it.
So see, I. It's not inviting.
Cost you that much, you know, probably get like another, like, offer.
See, I'll co-list it with you if you, let me clear up everything that's in it. I haven't. Is big. I would have they should have gone in the picture. These are really all happened. You.
And I would make that just. Maybe I'm running off. We don't have enough.
No, just pretend that we agree. Because we can fire.
145. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so what else do we need to?
Here we have.
Yeah,
So what do we need to come up with for?
We're going to first up.
Yeah, we're ready for. Well, I mean, all it's technically in the pre-approval, like we have everything secured, so. No, I would already be like, we're pre-approved, we got the deposit ready to go, now that we're coming in at 1.5. The deposit's gonna be set now. Yeah, so tell us what it would be now. The
Okay.
deposit, 1.45.
Yeah, so.
So it's gonna be days, okay.
Oh, that's only like to really like, thing we really want. And this is, we don't. That's because there's like a lot of. Yeah. That would help with our renovation.
Now, can we get it?
You definitely need to do. Oh, yeah. So how? Live, since they're not living in the property, I'm sorry, we're gonna ask for quick gas. Oh, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we will.
Last year, I was trying to get out of the order.
What we didn't talk about that when we were telling you. You're supposed to pretend that you contact the even to see where they're at, how many offers you gonna leave, what they did. Right, so we want to pretend that. They had an offer to fill out a Webpro or maybe something, you know, like something. But obviously they're very sellers, so, you know, that's where we were comfortable. I let them know what my buyer has, and they said it's a minute, so. Boom. Or you can sue the flip side and say, okay, I'm gonna take this to the listing agent and, you know, let them know. You know, because they have some high expectation on it.
All right. We can do that now. Okay, so we'll take the.
You already know that.
Take it.
Yeah, I'll take the meeting for, and just, you know, see where they're at, see if they can give us any input with that. And then if that is, you know, maybe for that, can't find. See if this.
So, now I'll tell you what we want in there. You don't need anything in there. We have no plans.
I was gonna say.
No, we want all of it. I mean, there's like, we never actually look in their house, you know.
No, you know, like, wouldn't,
Trophies, is that?
like, if you want that gone, does that have to be on before we lose it?
Strictly honest.
Okay.
Or-
So you don't have to deal with this one and that, or selling it or something.
Well,
I mean,
no,
those points are working good as well.
Oh.
So you don't want to just keep it.
So there's experience and then there's. What was the difference? No, it was in our, yeah, what was the difference? What were they called though? Accessory? And what was the other word?
And it was like farm or
Fixtures or something like, yeah. There we go. So yeah, obviously whatever is, you know,
4.5%.
a fix, like, don't worry about it, but like, you know, just like anything that's.
So what is?
What's an AP? That's not-
And those. You want to get.
Yeah, we don't want.
You don't want to-
It's not up to you, it's not, that's the issue, that you don't have to. Gal is pretending to friend, and the only thing that matters is if we want it, we don't want it. So. I don't think that you have to point out that needs to be on, if it's not like a stove, I think they're gonna have to. Something that they should see, now, I have gone to those that like, you know, give things to somebody. And the seller obviously didn't take everything with them, they were. So, I don't really know if that's a thing, if you say, I want. Because it's needed for it. And nothing you can do, you gotta get rid of it.
Like to do.
Well, no, I mean, both of our names are on it, so that's all you need for now. Yeah. I think your title lead will figure all that out. Wow. Oh, no. We're good, you trust me, Tim. Just give us a synopsis, you're stressed and.
And then. That gives you the information. It's going.
They seem like these young guys for recent years. This is a very large business.
Thank you.
I mean, in leasing apartments for as long as it is, I mean, that was. That's why I told them I'm sure we'll, so I'm not sure that it's making. Unless.
We can go ahead and.
So, I think we're obviously gonna do these, this, we just have to like.
Maybe you're okay with that.
Yes.
Do it. What is your,
Expiration date.
So this is what we're here to talk about. The bottom, there's more than one. First, we want to be able to.
You go ahead and email them the offer, you're given 72 hours. That could be a little like misleading when the 72 hours starts, right? So one of the best practices that I like to do, and like I know I'm the other week, you like to get a confirmation
That they receive.
either by text or by email, so that's.
And
what I
then a
like.
72 hour start at that.
Correct, and you know, sometimes if you don't get a confirmation days later, you receive your offer.
Yeah.
And that's the confirmation from the seller agent receiving it, correct?
Correct. And sometimes they'll be honest and be like, oh, our sellers are out of time right now, so I'll present it to them on Monday. That's our point Monday.
Okay.
And they'll say, sure.
And you say, kind of short around.
Yeah.
Here.
Thank you.
This is where.
They're very slow taxes.
Here's that word.
And for instance, so the outer is 2 hours.
Give the full accolades, because there's been a litigation, and it's hard for them not to list. Below value, I think that was like.
Sort of, is it-
More, vice versa. So they have to.
That's 3%.
Lots like this, that
Right.
really appraiser is.
Initial deposit, yeah, I think that's
Most people don't know that.
Yeah.
And from a seller's standpoint, if the appraisal came in below value when they honestly want their house. Like, losses happen.
So the standard initial deposit for. I mean, they can offer is 3% of purchase price.
Well, no, that's only if it's earnest money deposit, that's again, earnest money deposit is only when we are. This is our regular deposit, this is our down payment. Yes, earnest money is not. But that's what that is, just like we did the last time, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's where we did the purchase price.
Yeah, that is like.
I mean, I'm gonna start this big old way because that was not the next one where I got here, but I knew it was. That's. Is that next?
No, I was just looking at the rest of the box. Other buyers.
I mean, I don't think that
It's
it.
for deal,
Which we-
you could be there and take.
That's good part.
So, yeah.
That's what I thought was gonna be. Just. I promise you. And they didn't get it.
I don't know if they did.
Yeah. I don't know.
They cover the roof, like, it's like one foam or something like that. Yeah, it was white. So-
Right.
And the reason they said it was to give it like a brighter look. Brighter look. Those things sort of fall off like some of them.
I think, by the way, though, this is virtual.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was like that, is looking.
You couldn't solve it like a visual.
Yeah.
What happened to the list?
She does have questions.
But the damage, was there structural damage?
Yeah.
That's the.
That is a huge.
Yeah.
Maybe I
Especially like you said with the verbiage, like, well, we need to ask, and we don't really need to ask.
Yeah. I don't know, the hardest part is probably just like setting ourselves apart, and sometimes we feel like it's our own, we get personal with it, sometimes we feel like it's our own picture. We know all about it. I want you guys to request for $100,000 project.
That's what I told them, and the first time we did it, we were like doing it like a negotiation with both of us, and I'm like, no, no, no. We're supposed to be the experts, we're supposed to reel them in, right, like, they're supposed to be asking them what should be. Anyway.
Oh,
I like that, Jim.
Well, I'm paying your. Oh, okay.
Second, qualifiers about take the time around it. If you feel about it more to for me, personally, like, I'm always doing that. So just to explain to them, I know this may come across as a little redundant for use because you heard before the last transaction, so you bear with me.
But in terms of, I think, they might view us more certain with, I think this is someone who want to make us, someone who are prepared to put the earnings deposit, right? In a second time around, the first time around, you might have to guide them.
Yeah, so also, again, like setting the expectations, well, when it looks like for you, you don't.
This is also this, right?
Oh.
You're gonna be
Yeah, less.
Or do you think, multiple offers,
I didn't get.
what does that look like?
So are you guys want?
How are we feeling, guys?
Good. Are we going back to that yet or no?
No,
Okay.
we have. Just want to open it up to just, like as much feedback as possible for you guys, like what do you guys learn, what are your biggest, what do you think you need to improve? I saw a lot of.
I think we just need to like continue like looking for this and working on
Examples, like
talking about it, like, knowing it, fully understanding it. Because it's a lot of information and you're gonna get those people that want you to explain.
Yeah.
Like almost every single thing, you're gonna have people that will just find it, but then you're gonna have people that just want it, and not every single thing, so I think it's just getting. Okay, this a good way.
One of the things that I was telling the group in the background is like, just keep. Just keep in mind that even though like we're new and we're going through the whole process, just keep in mind that this is a very emotional process for them too. They're processing what could be like the biggest purchase of their life. So always make sure instead of just going through as quickly as possible, because we're a little tense going through this, just keep in mind, just okay.
I think the more confident you are with this, the more easy it's gonna be for them.
It is to.
100%.
Because if you're questioning yourself along the way and then they're starting to question it, and like you said, it's gonna be like the biggest purchase. They don't wanna just rush through that. They're not buying a link.
This, and I'm sorry, Ignite said something about an email summary for a listing agent. Are you supposed to send them something before you send them the offer? Or what does that mean?
So remember when I told you to have those conversations with the listing agents, you can send them an email, there's a good chance that they're not even gonna.
Oh, for sure.
So always have a voice to voice conversation if at all possible. Some are just like, hey, text me. Feel like I'd really like to have this quick conversation. My client is really interested, but I have a couple of questions for you. They're not gonna not call you. They want the offer, they want the escrow, you know? So,
Okay,
plus, you also kind of get a feel of who you're gonna be working with as well. If they're gonna be a little dismissive of you and stuff, that kind of sets the tone.
for sure.
I'm not gonna put all my eggs in one basket.
Right.
You're seeing a lot of tonalities in this industry, right? You're dealing with tonalities of the listing agents and the buyer's agents. Also the vendors that you're working with, some of the lenders are just like, okay, whatever, you know, I don't want to help you. Others are just like, oh, yeah, cool, you know, send me a text anytime. But more importantly, the clients. What else?
Oh, this was like from the perspective of the listing agent, not buyer's agent. I guess they broke off into both, right?
In Ignite?
Mhm.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think tomorrow's class is gonna be on listings, right?
I don't, is it?
Or Thursday.
Oh, cool.
Is it? Yeah, Thursday is negotiate offers. So it's gonna dive in.
No, today was good.
All that. Yeah, it's good for your brand.
Thank you.
I've been wanting to log into for a long
Yeah.
time now, so thank you for taking that opportunity to get us in.
That was part of what I was supposed to, what I wasn't supposed to was go over the contract for you, like, for example.
Oh, I think that's,
But that was perfect, that's so needed, though, like actual hands.
Everyone
needs
needs to see
this,
it.
you know?
All the content, and I was like, this is all good, if you guys already know what you're doing, since most of you guys haven't written an offer, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Why not just go there?
Mhm.
totally.
Good, love it, good stuff.
Thank you, thank you.
Cool. All right,
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mary.
The practical side is what we've kind of been saying a lot, that we need to actually get it in front of us. Yes, and just talking about it, it's really valuable.
yeah, it's kind of like a A to Z process, but you can't, I mean, like, as much as we wanted to, because our national personalities are like to do hands on. Have you guys actually been on any like listing buyers appointments yet?
Oh, no, not actual, like, sit down. No.
We have a little bit of time, we have a lot of bit of time, actually. Do you guys want to go through that or?
Can we do a buyer's one for when I try to get this young lady and her family in here?
Yeah,
I would love to
okay,
stay for something like.
yeah. You wanna role play right now?
Yes.
That's it.
Me, for.
I'm
Come on,
about,
you dived out of it a couple times.
I did it just now.
we did,
The way that I see it is if there's any like errors in communication, at least we could correct the errors in front of each other. Like I was telling you earlier, if you're with a client and then you make an error or you say something that you weren't supposed to say, you're not gonna get the opportunity to correct yourself,
Yeah, got it.
right? So we might as well. Do you guys wanna just pair off and just role play then? Okay, you're comfortable?
I'm hoping to see you and I'm the
Yeah.
buyer and you're the.
Oh, I
can record like, yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
And we take notes as we go.
Okay, so where are we at right now? You're in the full pre-approval?
This is the initial buyer consultation.
Initial buy, okay, so what I usually do is I usually have a presentation book.
Yeah.
Which kind of tells who I am and who my team is. I have my introduction to Chris, so Chris Rivera, the lender, and things like that, who we are in the office. I have my escrow officer who has my back 100% of the way, so I actually put that on in the presentation.
Okay, so they're not there physically with you in the
No, no.
meeting, but you have their information, you have like a packet, a folder.
Correct,
What if they already have?
Even though they've
people-
already been like pre-approved.
if they've already been pre-approved, then that's fine, that's even better, but it's still also good to know, like,
It's still operate there.
yeah, absolutely, because it's who we are, so we're not gonna change who we are just on a case by case scenario. So,
Thank you.
So if they would, they're like a friend that they're working with already or something like that, or that they would work with, you would still just like offer. At least at the beginning, like it's part of your presentation, you said,
absolutely,
okay, so I have this, lender that I usually work with,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Unless you have somebody that, I don't know.
getting pre-approved is like the first step in knowing how serious they are. So if they're dead, on having their lender, perfect, we don't want to step on anyone's toes, but what I was telling you guys earlier. Kind of like buying a car, you never want to just go into one dealership and walk out with a car, you want to like do your homework first, especially because this is the biggest purchase in your life.
Right.
So we have vendors on hand right now who we are just in constant communication with. You might be able to just be able, you might just be able to answer any questions that you have on the spot. I know home buying can be very, very emotional. So you want to definitely have a lender who's always supportive that can be there to answer any and all of the questions. Is your lender there for you all the time? If not, might be a good idea to contact one of our lenders. You can just get it over, right?
Okay, so we have your intro, your bio, information, who you are. Keller Williams, overall as a team,
Yeah.
in-house lender, escrow.
Yeah, I want to introduce you, I want to show you in this picture that this is my escort team. They're probably the best thing that can ever happen to me in my real estate career because they answer any questions that I have, but they'll more importantly be available to answer any questions that you have. And because they're a third party, they're a neutral party, So they're there to just, mediate me and all type of like negotiation hiccups, right?
But as a buyer's representative, you typically don't have control over the escrow, do you?
No.
But you're just explaining that that's what the escrow process is. Okay.
That's a good one. Did all you guys know that the seller is usually in charge of picking the escrow?
No,
Mhm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can request for it in the purchase agreement, which more often than not, they're listing if they have a that they got set off.
Because we, it's happened where you've recommended somebody and they went and saw them and we thought it was a done deal and they were literally price shopping and they had a guy already.
Yeah,
We're like, well, thanks for wasting our escrow guys' time. I didn't even, yeah.
that happens. Like we work with a lot of investors who are specific to requesting like certain escrows. And but the listing agent has the person that they want, so I'll just ask them like, hey, we want to use our escrow officer because, they could probably give you guys a discount as well, and sometimes they'll say yes. But more often than not, it's the loyalty that we have to our people, right? We want to take care of people. I always try to introduce buyers on buyers consultation to Chris Siller, just because she is the person that communicates via email more than anyone else, right? But to make sure that all the paperwork is together. So when you do open up escrow, to say like, hey, you're gonna start receiving a lot of calls, a lot of emails from Chris, she's my transaction coordinator. So I know it could be a little overwhelming, you're gonna start receiving a lot of emails from other people. So just kind of break that through that process, so it's not so overwhelming when it actually happens. Okay,
Okay.
I've forgotten a couple of times and they're just like, oh my gosh, who is this person? Am I getting fraud? So I try to get into the habit of doing that during buyers.
Okay.
Hey, remember that crystal that I was telling you about? Yeah, you're gonna start receiving a lot right
So when you say introducing, just speaking about her, not actually
Right.
face to face with her.
You're right, because my buyer's package actually has her face and her contact information.
Do you have a copy of your contract?
I did, I could read.
Just want to see it, glance through, get an idea.
Great questions.
I haven't run our way already.
Did you use command to create yours, or is yours is kind of a customized one that you landed on over time?
So command is pretty new to me and I'm using it diligently now, James Carlos.
He is a pusher.
With good reason,
Yeah.
command was a lot of stuff that I never would do. But most of my marketing came from before command came about, so.
Okay.
The main purpose of a sit down during a buyer's consultation is to get a feel of like, helping them get comfortable with the idea of purchasing. Most of the time, they're not even ready to purchase. So you start asking the questions and you'll have to ask the questions multiple times. You're gonna sit down with them and ask them, when is your time frame to buy a house? They'll probably say like 6 months to a year. By the time you're done in 15 minutes, they'll probably say, oh, okay, I'm gonna call the lender right now.
Yeah.
You're showing them the possibility that they can. Okay. And that's what your job is.
And would you suggest that I invite her and her husband for coffee, meet at Starbucks or come here to the office? What should we do?
I always try to meet at a Starbucks or somewhere neutral for them, because if you're gonna ask them to come to your house, it kind of makes them uncomfortable. Because you're trying to push them into something that they're not ready to
I
do.
got you.
So I usually try to, maybe like a coffee meeting or something like that, and just be like, yeah, it's only gonna take 15 minutes of your time, 10-15 minutes of your time. Coffee's on me. What else?
And that's if it's kind of a brand new person that you just kind of met in an open house and you just want to feel out a little bit more.
Why not with everyone?
Well, I was just wondering if someone is like, if you've already qualified or not qualified, if they've already said, I really want to work with you. Do you also come prepared with a
Buyer's representation.
buyers? Yeah.
You can. Are you comfortable with doing that?
I think so.
That's a rhetorical question,
if-
because everyone's different.
Yeah, I mean, if a person is already, like, they've already got it in their mindset, and I think even if I was sitting down. With them in that 15 minutes. You know, how comfortable are you working with me?
Yeah.
I'd like to have a committed relationship to you. And, you know, I'd appreciate that back. Are you willing to cement that?
Mhm.
And then go from there.
Some agents out there like to show them a couple of houses before they get comfortable. Okay, I'm gonna show you 3 houses. And then after that, I would like you to feel comfortable and hopefully by then you'll know who I am and go ahead and sign it.
That's good.
Well, that's actually good, I like that better.
Yeah.
I like that better than, yeah. It's less like, not that it's salesy to be like, I need you to send these flyers.
Yeah.
But everyone thus far has kind of told us the importance of it, so we understand the importance of it. But maybe they can get, if they're not like comfortable yet, that would be a great way to do it.
Yeah, plus at the same time, let's say that they do sign a buyer's agreement and they just decide, you know, it's not working out. Are you really gonna be like, no, you signed it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do it.
Yeah.
Awesome,
Anything else? Feeling good?
yeah.
I want to hear all the ones, when you guys actually go on buyer's appointments and stuff, I want to hear all about it. I'm sure your mentors will be with you as well, right?
That's the plan. That's the plan. That's the plan.
That's what I want to give our partners go with us for the buyer's consultation. Gotcha.
One quick thought though, is also set the expectation what you want and how involved you want them to be.
Yeah.
But
It's your responsibility for that. I cannot stress that enough. It's your
Yeah.
responsibility.
I don't wanna go there and then like
sorry.
keep looking at them like.
Yeah,
whose answer?
Yeah.
Whose answer it is?
Or sometimes they'll just take control altogether and then you're just like, well, I didn't really do anything, that sucks. So just make sure you set the proper.
Okay.
Like set the boundaries of how much you want them involved. Cool,
Cool,
all right.
Okay.
thank you, Leanne.
Leanne, appreciate you.
Or have a good day.
You too.
And thanks again for the snacks.
Yeah.
Third up, right now.